Act 1 of Falstaff's Wedding, 1760 version, by William Kenrick. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
King Henry V, read by Adrian Stevens.
The Duke of Gloucester, brother to the King, read by Alan Mapstone.
Duke of York, uncle to the King, read by Luminess.
Duke of Exeter,
Uncle to the King,
read by Paul Guerra.
Archbishop of Canterbury, read by Larry Wilson.
Pope's Legate, read by Paul Welford.
Lord Scrope of Masham, read by Todd.
The Earl of Cambridge, read by Chris Pyle.
Sir Thomas Grey, read by Redrun.
Sir John Falstaff, read by Greg Giordano.
Justice Shallow, read by Ehsan Ahmed Mehdi.
Master Slender, read by Elijah Fisher.
Pleadwell, a lawyer, read by Stacey M.
Father Paul, a friar, read by Beeswax Candle.
Friar Lawrence, read by David Purdy.
Bardolph, read by Alan Mapstone.
Pistol, read by Paul Guerra.
Peto, read by David Purdy.
Francis, read by Nora Nelson.
Dame Ursula, afterwards Lady Falstaff, read by Agnes Robert Bear.
Eleanor Poins, Quondam Mistress to the King, read by T.J. Burns.
Hostess Quickly, read by Wendy Katz-Hiller.
Doll Tearsheet, read by Jen Broda.
Officer of the King's Household, read by Redrun.
Paige, read by Nora Nelson.
Bridget,
read
by Nicole Wright.
Stage Directions, read by Sonia. Act 1, Scene 1. A street in Westminster. On the day of the coronation of King Henry V. Enter Sir John Falstaff, solus.
What a scurvy quarter is this! Not a bush or a blind Cupid in the neighbourhood. Splud, my legs will fail me ere I reach a tavern. Phoo, phoo, it is some comfort, however. I escaped being suffocated. The green-aproned rascals, crowding after the procession, had well nigh made an end of me.
Scene 2. Enter Bardolph.
Oh, Sir John, I'm glad to have found ye. I was in the fearfullest quandary for you in the world. I hope your honour has got no hurt.
Not its death's wound, I hope, though Hal, indeed, looked somewhat cold upon me.
Cold, Sir John? I'm afeard we shall be in limbo shortly, for my Lord Chief Justice—
Hold thy ill-omened croaking. If faithful services are thus requited, I will turn cordwainer, yea, cobbler, and heel-pieced old shoes, ere I have to do with blood royal again. Ingratitude, I hate it.
To be sure, Sir John, what you say is right, for, as the song says, ingratitude is worse than the sin of witchcraft. But I hope your honour got no personal harm in the mob. You was carried off the terrace, for all the world, like a dunghill from Millbank by a spring tide.
Bardolph, thou hast the most filthy way of making comparisons. The most villainous similes. Let me have no more of them.
Why, they say indeed comparisons are odorous, Sir John.
Thine, however, are unsavoury enough, but I am ill at ease, and more disposed to spleen than merriment. I prithee look out, and see if there be a bawdy house at hand.
What, here? So near the court, Sir John?
Where better? Splud, dost think there are no whores at court? Are there no dames of honour? dost think Hal hath banished them too? Look out, look out!
I will, Sir John.
Exit Bardolph. Scene 3. Sir John Falstaff, solus.
I would I were in Eastcheap. Mine hostess hath a most excellent cordial, and I never stood in more need of it than now. The girl's indignity Hal hath put on me sticks in my throat, and in the end may go near to choke me. I shall never gulp it down, that's flat, unless, indeed, a full cup of sherris help to clear the way. And then how I shall stomach it, how I shall digest it, heaven knows. At present, both my person and knighthood are in jeopardy. My Lord Chief Justice, to whose care I am commended, holding me not altogether in good liking. But no matter, if I am to be provided for, what avails it who is my caterer? I could with, nevertheless, old white wine stood higher in his lordship's favour, that I may not be stinted at table, or in my by-drinkings. I like not such splenetic temperaments, such phlegmatic constitutions, greybeards that never sympathize with the wants of young men, or make proper allowances for their continual waste of radical moisture. Sblood! I am as for and as melancholy as a blind horse in a mill. Bardolph, where a plague art thou gotten to, caterwauling?
Scene 4. Enter Mistress Quickly and Doll Tearsheet.
Oh, Sir John Falstaff!
Oh, sweet Sir John!
How, mine hostess, and my good vestal, Mrs. Tearsheet? Save ye gentlewomen both, good morrow.
God yield ye, Sir John. Well, I vow and protest, and I didn't say he would take as civil notice of his old acquaintance. Nay, though if he was created my Lord Mayor of London.
What talk ye of Lord Mayors and fusty citizens, Gossip Quickly? Sir John is a courtier, and to be sure, we must gratulate him now as one of the greatest knights in the nation. Oh, sweet Sir John.
Truce with your formalities, Mrs. Dorothy. It is true indeed. I am one of the biggest knights in the kingdom. But pray, have you seen none of our followers by the way? Pistol, nor Peto?
No, verily, Sir John, not one. We have seen nothing of them today. They are all gone to the coronation, I warrant, and indeed we should have been there too, hadn't it been for that wicked villain, Constable Thang, that, by a mistake of the beadle of our ward, would have carried us to Bridewell this morning.
How, mine hostess, and my fair Dorothy, to Bridewell?
Even to Bridewell, I can assure ye.
But how, Dame Quickly to Bridewell? A decent church-going widow, and a modest maiden, I should say, single gentlewoman, to a house of correction. Why, what?
So I said, Sir John. Not hook, says I. Do you know what you do, says I? Have me to Bridewell, says I. I say to Bridewell indeed, a reputable housekeeper that has paid scot and lot, and borne the burthen of half the parish any time these 20 years.
That thou hast, hostess of the male half, I'll be sworn for thee.
Besides, says I, do you know Sir John Falstaff, says I? Touch a hair of Mrs. Dorothy's head, says I, and Sir John will make you smart for it, says I. Every bone in your skin, says I.
And what said the rascal to that?
Said Sir John, he stood mumchance, and spoke never a living syllable, but set his vinegar-visaged catchpoles upon us, who fastened their claws into Miss Tearsheet's best girdle, and tore it into as many rents and tatters as there were in the old tapestry hangings I pawned to fit your honour out for the last expedition.
Pshaw!
Yes, indeed. Sir John made a mere tatterdemalion of me. but we did so tongue the leather-eared vultures.
That they were glad to loose their grip to get rid of you, I suppose.
Nay, Sir John, I was obliged to produce an angel to convince them we were not the parties indicted.
Infidel rogues! Would nothing less than the testimony of an angel convince them?
Aye, I knew how Sir John would take it. Oh, how soundly will the knave constable be swinged for this! A jack-in-office rascal! We shall cure the blue-skinned runyon of his itch for whipping, I warrant ye.
Scene 5. Re-enter Bardolph.
I have been looking all about, Sir John, but I cannot find one.
What is it Sir John wants, Mr. Bardolph?
A bawdy house, mistress.
Oh, Jesu Maria, Mrs. Dorothy.
How, sirrah? Did not I send thee to look out for a house of civil entertainment, where I might repose myself after my fatigue? What, you rogue, would you make of me here, before these superabundantly virtuous gentlewomen?
Yes, indeed, Sir John, and so to be sure we are, for, in good sooth, nobody need be ashamed of their civilities to your honour's knighthood. And as to a house of civil entertainment, Sir John, here is one hard by, where the knights and lords and all the great gentlemen of the court are entertained, both by night and by day, as civilly as at their own homes, and by gentlewomen as kind to them, I warrant ye, as their own ladies themselves. A house of civil entertainment, a bawdy house truly. Why, I keep a house of civility myself, and I would have you know, Mr. Bardolph.
Nay, nay, 'tis all one. What Sir John pleases.
Yes, by my truly, and so I think it ought, for if Sir John recommends you to the king.
Nay, were I Sir John, I'm sure I would never promote such a clown as Bardolph at court.
Ah, Dol, I'm afraid our promotion will be at the gallows. If Sir John has any interest with the hangman, he may get me preferred, perhaps, to the top of the ladder.
Why, how now, varlet?
Do hear, sweet Sir John.
Aye, hostess, Bardolph is somewhat blunt, but as for the king...
Heavens bless him! A sweet young prince he was, and to be sure a gracious king he is. But what of him, Sir John?
Why, marry, hang him, hostess. Treason must out as well as murder.
I am amazed, Sir John. Why, how is this? What a goodness! When? Where?
How is this, good Bardolph?
Why, I will tell ye how it is. That fame ungrateful, sneaking, pitiful rascal we are speaking of is turned fanatic.
Fanatic? The king a fanatic?
Aye, fanatic. Presbyter, bishop, if you will. Let his crown be his mitre. I care not.
We don't take your meaning, Sir John.
You must know then, Doll, that after having, in pure love and affection, ridden post day and night 80 and odd miles, to congratulate him on his accession, and condole him on his father's death, instead of bidding me welcome to court, he preached me my own funeral sermon.
A funeral sermon?
Aye, hostess, for at the end of his discourse he ordered me to be buried alive, at 10 miles' distance from the court, and to make this unnatural interment the surer, he has appointed my Lord Chief Justice, his undertaker, to see to the disposal of my corpse.
Buried alive, quoth he. What is in all this?
In plain terms, Dame Quickly, your gracious king hath banished me the presence, and till he grows a graceless prince again, I am forbidden to approach his person within 10 miles, on penalty of being hanged. Take ye me now.
Oh, Jesu! Is it possible?
Aha! Is it so? Sits the wind in that quarter?
Well, as I am an honest woman, who would have thought it? It is a world to see.
And so, Sir John is in disgrace. Still, plain Jack Falstaff. And one of us. Poor blown Jack.
A sad disappointment indeed, Sir John. But in good faith, things fall out so odd, and the world goes so wrong, and the times are so hard, that why, no longer ago than yesterday, I was obliged to pay the Lord knows what all away for one thing or another, and then my misfortune today, an angel to the constables, and beside this comes the day after tomorrow, when I must make up a sum for the wine merchant, wherefore, if your honour would but discharge your score in Eastcheap, because, your honour knows—
How's this, Dame Quickly?
Because, I say, your honour knows, 70-odd pound is a great deal of money for a poor widow woman to lose.
What talk you of losing, hostess?
True, Sir John, as you say, to be sure, I shall not be willing to lose it, for the law is open, and I know which way to get my money.
I am glad thou dost, hostess, as in that case I need not give myself the trouble to pay thee. The law is open, sayest thou? Aye, like a mousetrap, on the catch for nibbling clients. Enter thy action, and I will hold thee a gallon of sack. Thy departed husband will get out of purgatory, ere thou out of the hands of thy lawyer.
Nay, Sir John, you need not twit me upon that. You need not fling my poor husband's soul in my teeth. He has not been gone so long, though for the matter of that, he might have been in heaven before now, hadn't I lent you the money Mr. Dumb should have had to say masses for him. Yes, Sir John, you have put into that great belly of yours what should have got my poor husband out of purgatory, and now you reproach me for it? Had he been still alive, you would not have used his disconsolate widow thus. You wouldn't, Sir John.
No, I'll be sworn I should not.
Well then, Sir John, out of charity, if it were nothing else, you ought to repay the money. Nay, if you don't, I'll pray night and day that you may be haunted by his ghost. Heaven rest his soul! I would he might never sleep quietly in his grave till he has made you pay me.
Go to, thou art a foolish woman. With good words thou mayst be paid.
No, Sir John, good words will not do. I must have money, Sir John. The priests won't get a soul out of purgatory without money. Besides, Sir John, good words are no payment. I can get nobody to take them. Good words will not do with me.
Well, well, I say you may be paid.
May, Sir John, I must. You have thus shuffled off on me a good while, but I must be paid, I must.
Hey, hey, wilt thou raise the neighbourhood upon us? If thou art clamorous, I will have thee ducked in the Thames for a bawd. What, a plague, art thou drunk? A good-natured wench as thou art, if it were not for thy shrill tongue and vixen humours. On the honour of my knighthood thou shalt be paid. Dost thou doubt mine honour?
Why, Sir John, to be sure, nobody would scruple to confide in your honour's honour. But then you know, Sir John, nobody better, what honour is. It will buy neither coals nor candles, nor will my landlord take it for rent, nor the merchant for sack or sherry. But would you give me only the half in money, and leave the rest to honour, so that a body might keep open house, Sir John? That would be doing something.
Nay, if thou wilt be advised, I will do more for thee. Bardolph, forget not to go. When I send thee, to the cashier with whom I left £1,000 this morning, and tell him to satisfy Mrs. Quickly forthwith.
£1,000?
The times are not so bad, hostess, thanks to our friend Shallow. But we may not yet have a merry bout in Eastcheap. How says my doll?
Nay, you know, sweet Jack, I was always at your pleasure there.
That I will say for her, and a sweeter-natured, better-hearted creature never lay by the side of a true man. But goodness heart, why do we tarry here when Sir John complained of his being fatigued, and was looking for a house of civil entertainment? I will show you the way incontinently, Sir John.
I thank thee, hostess. I am now somewhat recruited, and will endeavour to reach Eastcheap, and yet a cup of sack, by the way, I think, would not be amiss. Let us in.
Exeunt. Scene 6. A gallery in the royal palace. Enter Earl of Cambridge and Lord Scroop of Masham, meeting.
My lord of Cambridge, wherefore dost thou leave the presence thus, to skulk in holes and corners, indulging thy ungovernable spleen? My life for't, ere 'tis long, thou shalt be observed. King Harry must be blind he does not mark the clouds of trees lowering on your brow. By heaven, your heart's seen plainly in your face. Rebellion threatens in your very looks. Cast off those frowns for shame, and wear a smile, as if not Henry, but yourself were king.
Now by the immortal Edward's honoured shade, I cannot do it. This pomp of coronation hath set my stirring spirits up in arms. I'm stung with scorpions that I tamely suffer this limb of the dead tyrant Bolingbroke to usurp the throne of my wife's brother Mortimer, derived from Clarence the third Edward's son, whose birth preceded that of John of Gaunt. 'Tis clear, in point of right, that Richard's death left him the fairest title to the throne, and shall he live, secluded from the light, to breathe the dank dews of unwholesome prisons, to waste the flowering season of his days cooped up within a nook of 6 foot space, of all that kingdom to which he's heir. No, by the blood of York that fills my veins, I'll right him yet. He yet shall be a king.
Soft, Cambridge, soft. Stone walls at court have ears. Knowest thou not that? I hate as much as thou the tyrant house of Lancaster. But stay, we are not yet in stage to pull it down. To shake it were at peril of our heads. Remember Percy, Worcester, Hastings, Scroop, and others, the first nobles in the land, that idly perish in this desperate cause. Blood hath already been too freely shed in this still thirsty quarrel. Shall we raise the sleeping axe to fall but on ourselves? No, be thou wary, cherishing thy hate no more than is consistent with thy safety.
I cannot bear to see this truant youth thus disappoint our boldest expectations. It pours cold water on my smothering hopes, that blazed at the decease of hated Bolingbroke.
Had Harry proved the idler we expected, there had indeed been hopes for Mortimer. But now...
Oh, I could go to daggers with him, to see his grave demeanour and address. But yesterday with thieves a pot companion, the scoff and nay-word of each manly tongue. I'm all on fire to hear his sober prate, see his mock majesty and portly mien, so aping royalty that all his peers cry out in wonder of their gracious king. Lord Scroop of Masham, swear thou art my friend.
Cambridge, what now? Hast thou not found it oft?
I have. No more. Shall Mortimer be king?
With all my heart. 'Twere in Masham's power. But steep and many are the steps between his lowly cell and England's lofty throne. steps which, at present, none may safely tread. In silence, therefore, hope for better times, and bear thee evenly till heaven shall send them.
I cannot, though, at hazard of my head. I was not formed to play the hypocrite, or wear a face that's foreign to my heart. Harry regards me with a friendly eye, profusely showering on me daily favours, as if he fought to win me from myself. Methinks I would not give him room hereafter, to upbraid my soul with that foul sin ingratitude.
How sayest thou? Am not I in favour too? But what of that? Dost think what kings bestow is given in love? Trust me, 'tis policy, mere policy. They must be served. To you, what gives King Henry more than is your own? For well he knows that next to Mortimer, your wife lays claim to the crown. Respecting me, think you not Harry builds upon my service? His kindnesses, too, may bribe me to forget a Scroop was once beheaded by his father. But if I do not forget it or forgive, may heaven forget me in my last distress.
And yet, methinks, revenge so deeply rooted might make dissimulation deeply painful. For me, I know my heart's so full of hate, that shows of love but hurt me to the soul.
Why, what a squeamish conscience, Lord, is thine! Not brook hypocrisy? What else is made the universal business of mankind? Mark but the thriving features of the world. There's not a male of half a grain of wit from childhood upwards, e'en from 10 to 80, but is an arrant hypocrite. The schoolboy, nature whipped out of him and bare-faced honesty, plodding with vacant ear and leaden eye, follows the fescue, poring o'er his book, as if he conned his lesson, while abroad his absent mind is robbing groves and orchards, or scamping o'er the fields in truant play. Grown up to manhood, the hot blood of youth urges the lustful stripling, in the dark, to the rank stews in lanes, blind streets and alleys, where, skulking ere 'tis light, he dons the mask of soberness demure, to cheat the day. See next the worn-out ribald, past his labour, scarred by the gosiers of his younger days. With him, hypocrisy turned inside out. He puts the mask on with the worst side outwards, and chaste, perforce, hires strumpets to abuse him. In each condition, age, or state of life, thus seem men good or bad. They're so far neither. Better or worse they may, but all agree to dupe each other by hypocrisy.
What argues this but poverty of soul, the sneaking cowardice of narrow minds?
Cambridge, we live but in a narrow world. Had individuals all the souls of kings, this globe would be too little to contain them, each grasping at a kingdom for himself. But art thou so disposed, to Harry, go. Lay ope thy honest heart, and in return he'll take thy head. How weak is this impatience! I'm ever bound to Mortimer and thee. But let us not run headlong into ruin. Fortune's a fickle mistress and a coy one. Let us, attentive, wait her lucky minute. 'Tis hers to shape occasion, ours to seize it.
Impatience, sayest thou? Canst thou, Scroop, foresee a glimpse of aught that in the womb of time may yield a fairer season for success? Thou know'st we've many staunch and loyal friends, but what will boot delay? Revenge hath sighed unsatisfied too long, and desperate ills demand a desperate cure.
I'll tell thee what. Thou knowest the enormous riches of the clergy have set the envious barons on their backs, who mean the ensuing Parliament to strip the Church of half its overgrown possessions. This, with the late encroachments of the Pope that gall the king, as touching his prerogative, will likely raise commotions in the realm, and form divisions we may profit by.
As how?
Thou must, by all means, chime in with the clergy, and raise an interest in the court of Rome. Assure the legate of your pious zeal, and that of Mortimer, to the Holy See, forgetting not how willing he'd have been, if England's king, to yield the nomination of bishops and their spiritual hangers-on throughout the kingdom to his holiness, hinting beside the payment of the allegiance and tribute first exacted of King John.
How may this speed?
The clergy on our side, should our young king break also with the French, as in all likelihood he rashly will, the state in ferment, Rome and France are friends, something might be attempted with success.
By heaven, Lord Scroop, thou hast a plotting head. In such a crisis, what may not be done?
Meanwhile, I undertake to urge the king, in his resentment against both Rome and France, but hush, be gone, of this another time. Yon goes the king, I'm bidden to his closet. Belike on secret business. When we meet, hold we in public ever different minds. Dissimulation as the means is honest, when honest is the end we mean to obtain.
Well, as I hope our time is near at hand, I will dissemble, smother up my thoughts, and mutter as discreetly as I may.
Exit Cambridge. Scene 7. Lord Scroop, Solus.
I fear this rash-tongued Cambridge will not wait the setting on. A hot-brained cuckold 'tis that sees not into the millstone though I pick it. He dreams of England's crown in right of his wife, o'er who I reign, the secret paramour. Could I shake Lancaster's tall house to the ground, Cambridge and Mortimer might tumble too, and both be timely buried in the ruins. And then who knows? Things stranger have been known. But I, her wedded lord, may mount the throne.
Exit. Scene 8. A street. Enter an officer of the king's household, and a friar.
There, good friar, thou hast it. It would indeed little conduce to raise the king's wisdom in the general estimation of the world, to have it thought in the power of such unworthy men as Falstaff and his fellows, to lead him implicitly into all those extravagances under which the character of his youth suffered. And yet so it would go near to be suspected, if his highness should now act toward them with an ill-timed severity.
Son, well observed. I commend, therefore, my Lord Chief Justice's prudence in treating their wickedness as infirmity, and will readily undertake to commune with them on the grievous enormity of their dissolute lives. I have already a goodly penitent and a fair she-companion of his highness.
A she-companion? Who is that?
I may not tell her name, unless indeed to a friend, under the veil of secrecy. Thou knewest Ned Poins? He had a sister.
A favourite of the prince, belike. I never heard of this before. His highness, then, it seems, had discretion in his wildness.
This wench is also of such good accomplishments that 'tis no wonder he should pay her deference.
Nay, it appears the king held Poins in less disdain than any of his fellows, by his providing him with an honourable post. Unless...
Yet this thou seest he has done prudently, by placing him at distance from his person.
That's true, and yet for all that, if one might whisper the truth, Poins is perhaps more indebted for his preferment to his sister's beauty than his own deserts.
With this we've naught to do. Let us not hint at censure now, having so just cause from his highness's sudden reformation to be thankful that England is so well kinged.
Therefore, good Father Paul, to the business in hand. My Lord Chief Justice would have you begin with Sir John Falstaff, the Captain General and ringleader of this vicious troop. If you can dispose him to any good, something may be hoped for in the rest.
I will use the means, and yet that Falstaff has been untoward from his youth up. I knew him when a boy and page to Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk. Even then he surpassed in roguery all the unlucky pages about the court, for indeed he had a shrewd wit. But what a miserable use he has made of it! Well, heaven pardon him.
And convert him too, good father.
Amen to that. But pray, where am I to find this wicked knight? I am told he is seldom out of some house of carnal recreation. Must I teach morality in a bawdy house?
There are few places, father, where it is more wanting.
But the honour of my function. I may perhaps be indecently insulted.
Of that you need not be afraid. The eye of the law is on them, and they will no doubt stand on their good behaviour, being sensible it is only through the lenity of my Lord Chief Justice that the King's order of banishment is not rigorously executed against them.
I will attend these reprobates.
His lordship would have you bring Falstaff over to retire into a monastery, if possible. But thou wilt see what may best be done with him. And on thy report his lordship's further pleasure will be known. Farewell, good father. I will see thee again at the priory.
Exit officer.
God be with you, son.
Scene 9. Street continued. Friar Solus.
I will go, but I fear my mission will prove as fruitless as that of many other apostles sent among the infidels. As there is no danger of martyrdom, however, I am content. Persuade Sir John Falstaff to turn monk. Could I work miracles indeed, and like St. Thomas turn an Ethiop white, something might be said for it. But as it is, I despair of converting an old debauchee from two such prevailing heresies as the whore and the bottle.
Exit. Scene 10. Street continued. Enter Justice Shallow and Master Slender.
I wonder now, coz, when you know what a desperate kind of a horrible man Sir John is, you should—
Tut, tut, I fear him not. There is ne'er a Sir John Falstaff in the nation shall overreach me.
But what's done cannot be helped, coz he overreached you now, as I take it, when you lent him the money.
Well, cousin of mine, then it is my turn now to overreach him and get it again.
That, indeed, cousin Shallow, to be sure, would be quite right. Tit for tat, as we say in the country. But then he is such a bloody-minded caitiff. You know he broke my head once for nothing at all. And if he should get an inkling that you are going to law with him, oh Lord, I shall never sleep in quiet again.
But, you chit, if he breaks the peace, I shall know what to do with him, I warrant thee.
Aye, there indeed, cousin Ecod. I did not think of that. If I am in fear of my life, I can answer taking him up with a warrant and binding him over to his good behavior. Suppose, therefore, coz, we swear the peace against him first, and lay him fast by the heels before we enter the action. And yet, I don't know. If I might advise ye, I would wash my hands of him, and thank God I was rid of a knave.
And so lose my £1,000?
If I might advise ye, coz.
And shall a chit A Callion, a beardless boy, presumed to advise Robert Shell Esquire? To your ABC, you primer. To school again. Advise me. Do you think I'll lose £1,000 by a foggering night in England?
Nay, I say nothing, cousin Shallow, but I know a little of the law. I did not live so long with my uncle Lingerfute for nothing. I know he used to say none of his clients got anything by it, but losses. Mind, I say nothing. But don't you remember the picture that used to hang up in Goody Undone's stone parlour? She was one of my uncle's clients too. Of the man, I mean, that lost his doublet in going to law for his cloak. There was another picture, too.
Don't tell me.
Of the dog and the shadow. I have heard them explained. Marry, good morals, cousin Shallow.
Talk not to me. I tell thee, I'll spend half of my estate before the rascalinat shall carry it off so. I had rather the inns of the court should share the money among them, than let that gorbellied knave feast his enormous guts at any free cost of mine. I will to my council immediately.
You know best, to be sure, cousin Shallow, but...
But me no buts, I say. But come along. Your cousin Shallow puts up no such wrong.
Exeunt. End of Act 1. Act 2 of Falstaff's Wedding, 1760 version, by William Kenrick. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2, Scene 1. A tavern. Falstaff sitting at a table. Bardolph attending.
Come, fill me another glass, Bardolph. Where are the women?
They are gone home, Sir John, that they may get ready to attend your honour this evening. They went away while you was asleep.
Come on, then, drink. We will empty the flask and follow. Here's to our better fortune.
Drinks.
Ah, Sir John, I am afeard our fortune hath been at its highest flood. We have seen our best days.
So the world goes, Bardolph, up and down. But it is not hard now. I that have, but that's nothing. I hate boasting. It is, however, well known what pains I have taken to make a man of that Hal. Nay, you yourself are privy to many the good offices I have done him. Before the younker knew me, he knew nothing. The sneak cup could not drink sack, made conscience of going to church on holidays, and blushed like a scarlet cloak at entering a bawdy house. Then he made a poor hand at cards and dice, and was a mere novice, a very noodle at a robbery on the highway. I instructed him in all these manly exercises. I was content to win his money, to teach him gaming, to get drunk myself, to make him so, to teach him Sabbath breaking by going ever to the church with a chimney in it, the tavern. And then again, mercy on this round body of mine. How have I been poxed to teach his smock face whoring? Nay, setting rotten limbs and dignity aside, have I not even pimped for the bashful rogue? Such a Prince of Wales! By my troth, I was ashamed of him. Had it not been for me, the milksop might have been crowned before he had lost his maidenhead.
And that would have been a pity, Sir John, to be sure.
It was I first taught him to waylay the true man, for I knew him when he durst not cry, stand, to a turkey-cock, nay, a gander, of the ordinary size of a green goose, had it met him on a common, would have made him run for it, and yet I would have so case-hardened him that he might have robbed his father's exchequer. But the toast and butter would not learn. I went further yet, and would not only have emboldened his actions, but have taught him the manly arts of conversation, in the style military, for instance, or swearing.
Ah, Sir John, I believe there you forget yourself. The Prince wanted no assistance of you in that, for when he was a crack no higher than this, he would swear ye as well as a man 6 foot high.
Right, Bardolph, you are right. I remember me. Swearing indeed he knew. For though but a king's son, he would, as thou sayest, rap out an oath like an emperor. But then for the quintessence of all elocution, the use of the hyperbole, vulgarly called lying. There I am a master, yet what a deal of pains it hath cost me to teach how to lie, and all thrown away upon him. He would never do it roundly. He had no genius that way.
You know, Sir John, the Prince never could away with lying. He used to say 'twas beneath a gentleman and a soldier.
Well, he will never shine in the recital of his own exploits as Xenophon, Caesar, and I have done.
Why, Sir John, to be sure, you have done something.
Something? The services I have done him and his father are out of number. Methinks my behaviour in the ever-memorable action at Shrewsbury should make him blush at his ingratitude. Who killed Hotspur? Did not I give him his death's wound in the thigh? Was it not I who took prisoner that fiery dragon Colville, and that even alive? And am I thus requited? Is this the guerdon of my great achievements? Hang valour! I'll hack my sword no more. Thus has it ever been the fate of merit to be rewarded. Alcibiades and Belisarius for that.
Aye, Sir John, they were tall fellows. They were sadly used indeed. I have heard of them, but that was in King John's time, I think.
They were the Falstaffs of antiquity, Bardolph.
Like enough, Sir John. They were before my time, to be sure. Though Pistol told me t'other day that General Belisarius was his godfather.
Pistol is an ignorant braggart, an ass. I have injured my dignity by associating with rascals not worthy to wait at my heels. What tellest thou me of Pistol?
Nay, Sir John, I meant no harm. I do think you deserve to be made a lord of, indeed.
A lord? I expected to have been made nothing less than an earl or a duke, I can assure ye. And then, for my well-known economy, to have had the sole management of the exchequer, at least.
And instead of that, to be banished.
I know not if I heard the word banish. I was forbidden indeed to come near the king's person by 10 miles. But I was not at that distance when those injunctions were laid on me. Queer now, it may pose a casuist, let me tell ye, whether I am thereby enjoined to march right out, 10 miles an end, whether the negative, not come, amounts to the positive, go. I will not understand it so. And, if that be my Lord Chief Justice's construction, by the Lord I will put him to the trouble of carrying of me. I will be laid up with the gout ere I budge a foot.
Indeed, Sir John, the king did say banish.
Admit it, unless he means to reside for ever in a place, and be in his own proper person as immovable as a church. I hold my life on a damned precarious tenure. He must give me timely notice of his motions, that I may regulate mine accordingly. Otherwise, if he be travelling my way, we may happen to encounter, and I get myself hanged through inadvertency. I do not think it safe, therefore, to stir out of town without more explicit orders. Fill me another glass.
The flask is out, Sir John.
Out? We have no longer any business here, then. Pay the drawer, Bardolph, and come along.
Exeunt. Scene 2. A room in the King's palace. Enter King Henry and Lord Scroop.
Thou didst observe in the east aisle of the abbey a wench that fainted as we passed along, and drew a crowd of our observers from us.
I did, my liege. Methought a fairer damsel mine eyes had ne'er beheld, when lo, of a sudden, her looks were changed. The roses left her cheeks, and down she sunk, as if unpitying death had laid his clay-cold hand upon her heart.
Wist you the cause?
I guess no other than the sweltry crowd, affecting oft such tender-fashioned dames, oppressed her gentle spirits, for I marked an elegance and softness in her features that spoke the delicacy of her frame.
Oh, Scroop, it is indeed a gentle soul. She was the earliest favourite of my youth, I her first love, and many an happy hour in all the endearing intercourse of souls we've passed together.
My gracious liege, your highness young, the damsel in her bloom, where could love find itself more fit employment?
Thou know'st, Lord Scroop, our present resolution to cast off the idle follies of our youth, hence our command to banish from the court the lewd companions of those boyish days. Now, this fair wench is sister to Ned Poyntz, whom I have late provided for in the north, and, for I would not see the girl again, I gave her ghostly father late in charge to place her in a sisterhood of nuns, with an allowance of 500 marks a year for life. I thought her cloistered up, and wondered much to see her in the abbey.
She meant, no doubt, to move your highness's pity, and not unlikely but that show of grief and mark of swooning was a female trick, an artifice that's common with these guilots.
I judge not so, but, be that as it may, I will not have my purposes delayed, nor firm resolves capriciously disputed. Go to her, therefore, thou my friendly Scroop, and say, her unexpected disobedience awakes our high displeasure.
I will, my liege. Yet, by your highness's leave, thinks not your majesty she's yet too young, too fair, and too enamoured of the world to turn recluse and hide her in a cloister? I warrant ye, my liege, a lusty lover would find a hearty welcome with her yet.
My lord of Masham, there I hold you wrong her. She is indeed most loving, kind, and gentle, and yet I think not more than she is true, faithful of heart, sincere as open day. A vestal's modesty sits on her brow, and awes even bold licentiousness to silence. She feels, I fear, too anxiously the effect of that necessity that caused our parting.
Where, in the name of wonder, did she learn those dainty manners? Of her brother Ned? Your majesty, in truth, is much deceived. Had not yourself so highly done her honour, some humbler lover had, perhaps, prevailed, and shared her favours on as easy terms.
Thou knew'st her not?
My liege, I know the sex, and judge not women by the things they were. The kindest of them all were Vestals once, but soon as e'er they've learned their mother's game, all that is left of chastity's grimace, mere affectation, prudery, and pride.
You hold them, then, but lightly in esteem, but general rules admit exceptions, Scroop.
Oh, yes, my liege, perhaps in twice 10,000 one may be found, whose mind's of chaster stuff than her frail body. But with all the rest, body and soul go lovingly together.
Go then, my lord, and in our gentle knell of twice 10,000, think thou seest that one, whose mind is yet right chaste. Make known our will, and in the gentlest terms your kindness may.
I will, my liege.
Exit King Henry. Scene 3. Room continued. Lord Scroop, Solus.
A lucky errand to this peerless beauty. I marked her in the midst of her distress, and of her snowy neck and heaving breast caught a side glance that fired my eager heart, and kindled all the ardours of desire. That she should turn out Harry's mistress too, and thence we make no doubt an easy conquest, whate'er his princely vanity suggests. This too is fortunate. Nor less his pride, that churlishly devotes those charms to heaven, on which himself has feasted till he's tired. Sure a kind beauty sooner will retreat into a lover's arms than to a cloister. And yet I may not long detain her thence. Love's a repast, so cloying at the best, that appetite soon leaves the keenest guest. To me the banquet of her charms be given, and, sated once, I'll yield them too to heaven.
Exit. Scene 4. A street. Enter Justice Shallow, Master Slender, and the lawyer.
And so, Master Pleadwell, that is your opinion. If it be so, my money is gone.
Indeed, I am of that opinion, Justice Shallow.
What? How? That my money is gone?
Nay, I know not that. I say, I am of opinion you should have taken a bond or obligation at the time of lending it, friend Shallow. 1,000 pound on the bare word of a courtier, and that courtier Sir John Falstaff, ne'er an alderman in the city of London, would have lent 1,000 pence on such security.
Oh, that ever a country squire should have less wit than a city alderman.
1,000 pound, Mr. Shallow, is...
1,000 pound, I know it is, Master Pleadwell, I know it well. But pray now, is there no method in the law to recover it? He cannot have spent it yet. Cannot we compel him to restitution? Arrest him, Mr. Pleadwell.
But should he deny the debt, how will you prove it? And who knows, on such an emergency, what Sir John Falstaff will not do?
Nay, he will lie, that's the truth on't.
Ay, coz, and that most consumedly too.
I can prove his receipt of the money.
But the conditions, Justice Shallow. What have you to show that he is engaged to return it, and when?
Nothing. I was weak enough to lend it him on his bare word.
Nay, cousin Shallow, not so neither. I'll be sworn he borrowed it upon his oath. I'll take my Bible sacrament of that. Didn't I hear Sir John swear? Yes, Mr. Pleadwell, I myself, in propria persona, heard Sir John, alias John Falstaff, knight. Viva voce, Mr. Pleadwell. Go to... I know a little of the law. I say, I heard the aforesaid Falstaff swear and protest to my cousin Shallow. Vide licet Robert Shallow of Gloucestershire, Esquire, Justice of the Peace, and of the Quorum, upon the honour of a true knight, to give him £1,000 again, and besides that, the comings in of a better thing in his Majesty's court at London.
Ah, Master Slender, these knights have just honour enough to swear by. But, for anything further, I am apprehensive we shall find him one of those honourable knights, whose word is as good as their oath. But see, if I mistake not, yonder he comes. This encounter may perhaps save us the trouble of attending him at home. Let us speak him fair, and persuade him, if possible, to sign an obligation for the money. If we can do that, we may trounce him. Let me alone with him.
Oh, would you could, Mr. Pleadwell? What would I give, methinks, to see him well trounced, if it was only for giving me once a bloody coxcomb.
Scene 5. Street continued. Enter Falstaff. Falstaff, aside.
How, Master Shallow consulting with his lawyer? Are ye thereabouts, friend Shallow? Would you hamper me with an action? I will pass them by.
Going.
Sir John, a word with you, if you please.
Oh, my good friends, Robert Shallow, Esquire, and Master Slender. How fare ye, gentlemen both?
Sir John, Mr. Shallow here has...
Ha! With mine old acquaintance, Master Wheedlepoint. How is it with your health, Master Wheedlepoint?
Pleadwell is my name, Sir John.
Right. I cry you mercy. Roundabout Pleadwell, I think. My memory is not so retentive as...
No offence, Sir John. That is not the case.
Marry, but it is Mr. Pleadwell. A treacherous memory is my great defect, and a misnomer in law thou knowest.
Would be matter of consequence, Sir John, but that is not our business at present. Mr. Shallow here hath put a case.
Aye, Master Shallow should know something of the law too. Was not he at Clement's Inn when thou wert first entered there? That must be many years ago, Mr. Pleadwell. Let me see. How many years ago must that be, Master Shallow? Why, you carry your age well, Mr. Pleadwell.
Pretty well, Sir John, but that...
Nay, marry, I say, very well, Master Shallow. And pray what has become of young Puzzlecalf and Dick Silvertongue, your fellow students there? They were called to the bar, I suppose. That Dick was a prate-a-pace rogue and a devil among the Bonarobas. He and Master Shallow here were two with the wenches. Ha, Master Shallow.
No matter, Sir John. At present we would confer on other business.
Nay, gentlemen, if ye are on business, I crave your pardon and leave ye. I am not used to be impertinent.
You are not a-going, Sir John. It is with you our business lies.
Business with me?
Yes, about the £1,000, Sir John.
What mean you, Master Shallow?
That you borrowed of me, Sir John.
Yes, Sir John, the £1,000 you borrowed of my cousin Shallow, Sir John.
Take me with ye, gentlemen, both. Let me understand ye. You presented me, indeed, with £1,000 to promote your interest at court, Master Shallow, and may depend on it, if I can serve you.
Fiddle-faddle, Sir John. I expect my money again. Your interest at court is not worth a farthing.
I cannot help that. The more is my misfortune, Mr. Shallow. You see, my heart is good.
If so, Sir John, you will not refuse to give Mr. Shallow something to show for his money under your hand.
How dost thou know that, Mr. Pleadwell? I must consult my counsel in this case.
There is no need, Sir John. I will draw up a little instrument to which thou wilt set thy hand immediately.
Not while I have a head, Master Pleadwell. I like not running hand over head in these matters. By latter Lammas, or Saint Falstaff's day, I may perhaps bethink me.
I know of no saint of thy family in the calendar, Sir John.
Well, well, there may be saints of a worse. Our merit hath not stood in the way of promotion, that's all. Yet there are as many whoremasters there as lawyers, I believe. But I cannot tarry now to hold further question with thee, fatigued as I am, and earnest to reach my lodgings yonder.
If thou wilt there sign the instrument, Sir John, we will attend you thither.
Wilt thou? It is a notorious bawdy house.
No matter, Sir John.
No matter, sayest thou? Is it then no matter for one of the grave sages of the law to be seen in a public bawdy house? Lord, Lord, what will this world come to? My conscience, however, is more tender. I should be sorry to give such occasion of scandal.
Please you, Sir John, to be serious. Let us rightly understand each other.
With all my heart, good Master Pleadwell. Then, to be plain with you, I find you do not know me. You talk to me of restitution and conditions. Didst thou ever know Sir John Falstaff make restitution on any conditions? And dost thou think me so unpractised a courtier as to return the perquisites of my calling, because I am turned out, or to restore the purchase of my goodwill, because I am not likely to get in? What take ye me for, a yonker? A geck? Go to, you cannot play upon me. Master Shallow, rest you content. Your money is in good hands, and if I do not spend it like a gentleman, never trust me with £1,000 again.
Oh, that I ever did trust such a caitiff.
But pray, were these the conditions, Mr. Shallow? Was you to be repaid by a place at court?
To be sure. Why, what do you think, Mr. Pleadwell? Cousin Shallow was fool enough to lend £1,000 for nothing. Why, I myself was to be made a great man too, and that into the bargain.
Cousin Slender, speak in your turn, I pray you.
Were these terms specified?
Not indeed on parchment. Fignatum et figillatum, Mr. Pleadwell. A courtier's promise is not indeed very good in law. But I can tell ye the posts I should have procured for these noble squires, and by Our Lady, thou wilt say they would have been well occupied. Having a little pique or so at my Lord Chief Justice, and Mr. Shallow, here, thinking himself qualified, I promised him my interest for his worship's removal from the quorum to his lordship's place on the bench. Was it not so, Mr. Shallow?
Don't belie me, Sir John. Don't cheat me of my money and laugh at me too. Robert Shallow, Esquire, will not put up with that.
Then, for Mr. Slender here, I purposed, for his address and elocution, to have got him appointed orator to the House of Parliament, or otherwise, in consideration of his figure and magnanimity, to have made him a staff officer, or captain of horse, at the least.
Nay, Sir John, you did not tell me what, but I expected some notable place, I'll assure ye, for I look upon myself, plain squire, as I stand here, to be somebody.
Cuz, you are an ass, cuz.
Why, I didn't lend him any money.
Justice Shallow, this is a very simple affair. I am sorry it is not in my power to serve you in it. Sir John, if you had either honor or honesty, you would restore the money. But, as you make pretensions to neither, I leave you.
Exit lawyer. Scene 6. Street continued. Falstaff, shallow and slender.
Well, my masters, you hear the counsel learned in the law. Will you to supper with me? You shall see I am no niggard. If you will lodge with me in East Cheap, you shall see the £1,000 fairly spent in sack. You shall share with me to the utmost farthing. But for dry restitution, I have not been accustomed to it of many years. You would not have me a changeling at this time of day, I hope, Master Shallow.
Changeling? No, Sir John, thou art no changeling. But depend on it, I'll not put up with this wrong. Robert Shallow, Esquire, will neither eat nor drink with thee. I will have further advice, and if the law will not help me, I'll take other methods. I'll have my money. Depend on 't, I will have my money.
Exit Shallow.
Aye, we shall find means to get the money. Never fear.
Exit Slender. Scene 7. Street continued. Falstaff, soulless.
Nay, I fear it not. At least before I shall have found means to spend it, and then, get it who may, it concerns not me. We shall see, however, whose business will be done first. Mine will go merrily forward. Ah, Shallow, Master Shallow. But who could have thought the snipe would have went to council, to get himself laughed at, than to see how demurely Sir Slyboots angled for me, as if I had been a gudgeon? How cunningly the rascally Barrador would have hooked me on his instrument. But I was even with the methodical knave. My friend Shallow will never bring it to bear in action at law. And if he should, as I have the cash, I am on the right side of the hedge. Indeed, were I to go to law for a mint of money, I would choose to have it all in my possession. There is nothing like it. Possession is the very life's blood of a bad cause, on the strength of which in mine I will home to supper.
Exit. Scene 8. A tavern in Eastcheap. Enter Bardolph, Mistress Quickly, and Doll Tearsheet.
He will be here incontinently, hostess. I only stepped before to let you know he was a-coming.
But is it veritably true, Bardolph, that Sir John has got £1,000 by him?
Aye, is that true, Bardolph?
True, upon honour. He had it of Justice Shallow of Gloucestershire, and it lies now in Master Ginglecash the banker's hands. But Sir John will be here momentably. Is everything ready?
In a minute we are all clear. Run, good doll, and receive the knight at the door. Francis! What, Francis?
Francis, without.
Anon, sir.
Light up candles in the passage. A bottle of sherry, Francis. Quick, you sleeping knave. Always upon a snail's gallop. Oh, that ever woman should be plagued with such creeping varlets.
Oh, here is Sir John himself.
Scene 9. Tavern continued. Enter Sir John Falstaff.
Jaded to death, I warrant. An easy chair, good Bardolph. Please you to depose yourself, Sir John.
So, now have I taken up my sitting again, in my old quarters. A glass of sherris, Francis.
And how do you find yourself, my sweet knight?
Tolerably thirsty.
Drinks.
I can drink, and that is all the bodily functions I am capable of. I am as stiff. Every part about me is a walking tailor or Don Diego on a signpost.
Nay, Sir John, if that be the case, it is not over with you yet. Give me a buss.
Go, doll. You are riggish. Get you gone, you water wagtail, you. I am not merrily disposed.
But will you give me a new kirtle at Bartolmew Fair?
I will, doll. Nay, I cannot bear you on my knee.
Why, how came you so terribly mauled, my lemon?
Did not I tell ye?
No, indeed, Sir John. Your honour spoke of fatigue, but did not descend to particles. Your honour fell asleep, you know.
Well then, I will tell ye now. Give me first a glass of sherris.
Drinks.
You must know that, after the king, hang him for a sheep-stealing cur, gave me that rebuff I told you of, he stalked magisterially away, and left me to the mercy of the multitude, when, as I stood parleying with mine ancient, mine arms akimbo thus, a knot of elbowing earls bore me down before them, with the impetuosity of a torrent. Lo, there was I, jammed fast in the midst of a vile group of mechanics, as if we had grown together in a body corporate. And in this jeopardy was I carried along, sometimes bolstered up on all sides, at the confluence of several turnings, like a maypole, and at others wire drawn between two stone walls, as if they meant to make chitterlings of me. Now this fair round belly taking the form of a Christmas pie, and by pressed as flat as a pancake. It is a miracle I did not burst in the midst of them. Had it not been for the sufficiency of my bus doublet, I should have certainly bursted.
If you had, Sir John, you would have went off with a report like a bladder.
A bladder, ye jade, a demi-culverin at least. I should have died an hero. My exit would have made some noise in the world.
Heaven forbid, Sir John, you should ever die a virulent death, I say.
I hope indeed, sweet knight, you will never be pressed to death. That must be an odd end, and yet methinks I could bear much.
I'll be sworn thou couldst, doll, but thou art a woman, and made to bear.
Yes, in good sooth, poor woman is made to bear everything. She must suffer all a man's ill humours, let 'em lie never so heavy upon her, and, by my truly, some men are nothing else. But to be sure, Sir John, you was used most unhumanly. Would nobody take pity upon you?
Pity? The most remorseless rascals. They made no more of me than if I had been a lump of dough they were kneading to make dumplings of, and to expostulate with the villains would have been preaching to the winds.
Why did you not exert your courage, Sir John? Draw upon them?
Draw, sayest thou? I could not come at my rapier, to be master of a kingdom. And as for good words, in return for the few I gave them, they let fly their jests so thick at me, and peppered me so plaguely with small wit, that I was dumbfounded.
I thought you would never have been overmatched that way, Sir John.
Yet so it was, doll. They were holiday wits, and came loaded with choke pears. But indeed I was overpowered by numbers. 2 to 1, doll, you know. They pelted me from all quarters. Will you hear? I will give you a spice of their sarcasms, a sample of the gibing pellets they threw at me. As I was thus stemming the tide and crying out for Lord's sake, a dried eel-skin of a fishmonger asked me how I could complain of the crowd. "Is a porpoise ill at ease," said he, "amidst a glut of sprats and herrings?" I had not time to answer the smelt before a barber surgeon, the very model of the skeleton in his glass case, offered to tap me for the dropsy, and to make us all elbow room by letting out a puncheon of canary at my girdle. "Right!" cries a third at the word canary. "I'll be hanged if anything be in the doublet of that fat rogue but hogskins of Spanish wine." And incontinently They roared out on all sides, "Tap him, there, tap him, master surgeon!" Sblood! I was forced to draw in my horns and be silent, lest the villains, being thirsty, should force the shaver to operation. The knave indeed was 5 weavers off, and so could not well come at me, might otherwise have been drunk up alive.
Indeed, my witty knight, you was matched.
Wasn't I, doll?
And pray, how camest thou off at last, Sir John?
By mere providence. For, after the barbarous rascals had squeezed the breath out of my body, they buffeted me, because I could not roar out, "God save the king." At length, I know not how, they threw me down in the cloisters, where, falling crosswise, and the way being narrow, I fairly blocked up the passage, upon which, for they could not straddle over me, they took another way, a plague go with them, for fear of losing the show, and thus I was left to take in wind and gather myself up at leisure.
And did the mangy villain so play upon thy sackbut, so maul this poor round belly? A parcel of sapless twigs, dry elms, fit only for fuel. I would I had the burning of them.
Wouldst thou fire them, doll? Ha! Art thou touchwood still, doll?
Nay, Sir John, not so.
No, I'll be sworn, Sir John, to my carnal knowledge, if there be truth or faith in medicine. But, Sir John, what would your honour please to have for supper?
Another glass of sherris. Fill me out, Bardolph. I cannot eat. I have lost my appetite by the way. Put an egg into a quart of mulled sack, and give it me when I am abed. I will to sleep.
Would you have your bed prepared straight, Sir John?
Aye, on the instant, good doll. Hostess, go thou and see to the brewage of my sack.
Exeunt doll and mistress quickly. Scene 10. Tavern continued. Enter Peto, leading in Pistol, groaning and hanging his head.
Hey, hey, whose other mare's dead?
Come, Clotho, Atropos, and sisters 3, wind up my web, for Pistol's flash is out.
What's the matter, Peto?
Matter, Sir John? The mob at Westminster have almost murdered poor Pistol here. I thought I never should have been able to get him home alive.
And how so?
Why, Sir John, being got upon a cobbler's bulk to see what was become of your honour, a raw-boned swaggering sergeant that was coming by whipped hold of him by the leg and threw him on the people's heads, where, being no room for him to come to the ground, they shouldered him about from post to pillar, as they would have done a hedgehog or a dead rabbit that had been thrown among them. I'faith, I thought they would have killed him.
How? Was that Pistol? I saw the bustle at a distance, but took the cause of it for some huge boar cat the porters and prentices had got, to make sport withal. By the Lord, Pistol, I have a fellow feeling for thy misfortunes. But art thou hurt? Where art thou wounded?
Ah, luckless knight! Is merit thus repaid? Doth fortune play the jilt with men of mould? Then, Pistol, lay thy head in Parco's lap.
Good ancient, let me advise thee to hie to bed, and lay thy head on a pillow. Peto, see to him. I too will follow. Bardolph, light me to bed. Let Doll bring up the sack. Empty the jordan, and tuck up my back.
Exeunt. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Falstaff's Wedding, 1760 version, by William Kenrick. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1. An antechamber. Enter Lord Scroop and Friar.
By the holy rood, an early riser, father.
Each morn, my lord, at crowing of the cock, is her wonted custom thus in prayer to usher in the day. But see, she comes.
Enter Eleanor Poins, reading.
How fair a penitent! Good friar, excuse us. I have a farewell errand from his highness, intended only for this lady's ear.
My lord, I leave her with you.
Exit Friar. Scene 2. Antechamber continued. Lord Scroop and Eleanor.
So early, gentle fair one, at your orisons?
Is not, my lord, my duty to prepare for the holy state my fortune waits to embrace by prior acts of penitence and prayer?
O cruel fortune! Is't for blooming youth to spend its prime amidst the doleful gloom of spleenful solitude, shut from the world, and from the golden joys that wait on beauty?
Alas, my lord, my days of joy are past. I have indeed possessed too great a share, and all are fled. But of my lord the king, what errands need such honourable messengers?
Scroop, half aside.
How cruel is to rob the world's fair garden of flowers so sweet to sense and choice as this. Lady, indeed, with pain I recollect the hated terms of my ungrateful message. For little those of chiding and reproof suit Masham's gentle nature. Yet the king, angered to see what others joy to look on, has sent me to remind you of his pleasure, and hasten your retirement from the world. Your late appearance at his coronation, it seems, hath much offended.
Could that, my lord, be deemed so great a crime? To wish to see my Henry's face again, ere yet I bade the fluttering world adieu? To take one parting look, to drop a tear, and bid him with mine eyes farewell for ever?
Princes, alas, are not like other men, at least so flatterers buzz it in their ears, while o'er their hearts vain pride usurps dominion, and all the gentler passions fall before it.
I see, my lord. Indeed, I see it now. Say 'twas a fault. My failing heart betrayed me. Yet 'twas a venial fault, the fault of love.
The king affects to think you disobedient.
And was I ever disobedient to him? His will to me was evermore a law, and shall be still. For though he cast me off, no other's pleasure will I study ever. Let him not think I wish to disobey him, or feel one pang in parting from the world. But from the wounds received by his displeasure, let him not think I valued but his love. His fame, his honour, equally were dear, and mine I've made a sacrifice to both.
Oh, had possession of so rich a prize, such store of beauty, tenderness, and truth, but fell to Masham's lot. Though twice a king, I would have worn it ever next my heart, more prized than all the jewels in my crown.
Oh, flatter not, my lord. So Henry flattered, so vowed the prince, when sighing at my feet. He won my easy, unsuspecting heart.
Oh, wrong me not, nor wrong those heavenly charms. Perdition catch me if I meant to flatter.
What means, my lord?
For Henry's heart you've lost, to give you mine, a heart that cannot change. Accept it, love, nor say the exchange is poor, for constancy overbalances a crown.
My lord, farewell! Is this thy hated errand? Hated indeed if Henry sent thee on it. Thou art employed, I see, to try my heart. It is the king's, till his unkindness break it, and how unkind! So kind while yet a prince. If thus a golden crown can steal his heart, oh, may I ne'er behold him while a king. No, be some humble cell my future lot. Princes and kings, and all but heaven forgot.
Exit Eleanor. Scene 3. Antechamber continued. Scroop Solus.
Not yet, my fair one. Thou must first be mine, or I am wide the mark of woman's will. I have a tale shall work upon the king, to give in charge this wanton up to me. And if there's aught of woman left about her, I shall find out the means to touch her heart, and teach her kinder maxims ere we part.
Exit. Scene 4. Tavern in Eastcheap. Enter Falstaff and Bardolph.
What time of day is it, Bardolph?
Almost 11, Sir John.
Then have I taken 2 sound naps of 8 hours apiece? How is it with Pistol today?
Why, he's in a bad way, Sir John.
That's all? When was he otherwise? Who ever knew Pistol or thee in a good way?
And yet, Sir John, we are your followers, you know.
Well said, Bardolph. I see thy wit is improved. I lead you the way, it is true, but you follow me like spaniels with damnable circumvolutions. But whom have we here?
It is the doctor, Sir John, that has been up to see Pistol.
Oh, Dr. Mithridate, the apothecary, a precious rascal.
Enter Apothecary. Scene 5. Tavern continued. Falstaff, Bardolph, and Apothecary.
So, Master Apothecary, thou art a man of merit, I see. Thou art sought after. How many patients hast thou dispatched to-day?
Not many, Sir John. I visited your friend Pistol early, and flatter myself he is in a fair way.
Bardolph tells me he is in a bad one. Fair and good I have heard, but fair and bad never. But pray, what are his complaints, Master Doctor? I know something of physic.
Why, Sir John, the cutis of the occiput is dilacerated. There are tumours all over the corpus. The patient has a delirium, a vertigo, and besides the febrile symptoms indicate phlebotomy.
Phlebotomy? What? Bleeding?
A little, Sir John. We will only take from him 16 ounces.
16 ounces? Hast thou a design upon his life? What a plague! Wouldst thou kill him? He doth not weigh 4 pounds avoirdupois, flesh, bones, and all, and thou wouldst take him away by quarterns in a slop basin?
I hope, Sir John, you will not go about to instruct me in the pathology, the therapeutics, the indications and contraindications. The patient must be bled.
Bleed sick apes and hyped monkeys. I will tell thee my ancient shall die a natural death. Thinkest thou I will have his veins drained up to fill a row of porringers at a barber's shop window? Use bits of red cloth and be damned. Ye shall have the blood of no follower of mine. 16 ounces. I tell thee not Galen, Hippocrates, nor Aesculapius himself, were they alive, should thus operate upon him. Phlebotomy. I will phlebotomize ye all with my rapier, by the Lord, if you offer to draw a lancet on him.
Well, well, Sir John, we will take less, but some his case absolutely requires, and in fact, Sir John, if you yourself, being of such a plethoric habit, would lose a little blood, it would not be amiss.
Me? I thank thee. In the blood is the life of the creature, and I will not consent to part with mine.
It were better also, Sir John, you drank a little more water in your wine.
More water? I drink none.
So much the worse, Sir John. Better you did.
And wouldst thou persuade me, with thy contraindications, that water is better than wine?
For some constitutions, and in some cases, yes, Sir John.
For thine, perhaps, but mine thanks thee for thy water. Wine is good enough for me.
You will not take my advice, Sir John, and so good day to you.
Good day to you, Master Doctor Apothecary.
Exit Apothecary. Scene 6. Tavern continued. Falstaff and Bardolph.
And yet I know not whether I ought to wish that neither, for a good day to him must be a bad one to somebody. A man of any conscience or humanity knows not how to salute fellows of such an occupation. For who would with the rest of mankind, lame and blind, sick and sorry, to find them employment, forsooth? Poor Pistol! I would not lose him, methinks, for though he be a braggadocio knave, he is an old acquaintance, and I never could find in my heart to part with old acquaintance, merely because they were good for nothing. King Hal is another sort of a man to what I am, to abandon his old friends in his prosperity thus. Poor Pistol!
Ecod, Sir John, it happened lucky for me, I can tell you, that I came off so well as I did yesterday.
Ay, by'r lady, thou playedst fair to get off in a whole skin and leave thy friend and master in extremity.
Nay, 'pon my honour, Sir John, I did my utmost to keep up with you, but 'twas impossible. And indeed it was very fortunate that I was not myself trod to death by the populace.
Thou? Tell me the moon is a Suffolk cheese or a Windsor pear. Thou? Have I not seen thee clear the rain without a staff at a bear baiting? Thou mightst make thy way through a legion, nay, the millions of a crusade. Why, who would come within a fathom of that firebrand, thy nose? It is a flaming two-edged sword. Wouldst thou make me believe the villains would come near thee to burn their holiday cloths? Thou wouldst have set them a-blazing like stubble, and have consumed the whole procession of heralds like men of straw. A plague upon them! It was in their avoiding thee, I suppose. They had like to have died a martyr to corpulency.
Sir John, you are always plaguing me about my face. What would you have me do with it?
Do with it? If there were water enough in the Thames, I would have thee quench it. But water, I fear, can do nothing for thee, since I remember, when we rode last from Canterbury, with the rain beating full in our faces, thou cam'st into the Borough with thy nose and cheeks glowing red-hot, although they had been hissing all the way like a horseshoe or a tailor's goose. God forgive me, but when thou ranst behind the hedge in fear of the officer, I could not help comparing him and thee to Moses in the burning bush. But thou wilt in time be consumed. Thy fire must out.
I would it were out, so be I might hear no more on't. In troth, Sir John, if I must be always your butt, I shall seek another service, I assure you.
Nay, nay, good Bardolph, that must not be. I speak not in disparagement, heaven knows, for I mean to cherish thee against the lack of fuel, or the visitation of a Dutch winter. Thou wilt stand me in good stead for a stove, and save me a noble a week in the purchase of pit coal.
Splud, Sir John, I'll bear it no longer.
Going.
Hold, Bardolph, where art thou going? Thou glowworm in magnature, with thy tail upwards, thou pumpion-headed rascal, stay, or—
Give me good words then, Sir John. Why Pumpkinhead, pray now?
Hast thou never seen a pumpion, fantastically carved and set over a candle's end, on a gate-post, to frighten ale-wise from gossiping by owl-light? That is a type of thee, that is thy emblem, thy head being hollow, full of light, and easily broken, as thou shalt experience, if thou wilt offerst to fly thy colours till disbanded by authority. I shall need thee, I tell thee, to keep me warm under the coldness of the king's displeasure.
Indeed, Sir John, burnt sack and ginger will do you more good. For whatsoever light I may give, I am sure, set aside collar, I am as cold as e'er a white-livered yonker in town.
Cold, sayest thou? Thy face would condemn thee for an incendiary before any bench of judicature in the kingdom. Thou wouldst carry apparent combustibles into court with thee. Tell not me of cold. Thou wouldst certainly have been hanged long ago. Had not the sheriff been afraid, thou wouldst have fired the hangman or the gibbet.
Why, Sir John, I have been your attendant off and on these 20 years, come Candlemas, and I don't find I've had any such effect on you.
The reason, you rogue, the reason. Am not I obliged to keep a pipe of canary constantly discharging on me? Are not the tapsters perpetually employed, the sack buckets forever a-going, to keep from blazing? And yet at times my skin is shriveled up like an April pippin. Mark me but walking 100 paces, with thee glowing at my heels, if I do not broil and drip like a roasting ox.
Ah, you are pleased to be hard upon me, Sir John, but I'm sure my face never hurt a hair on your head.
No, look at 'em. Hath it not turned them all grey? 20 years ago, before they were calcined by thy fire, my locks were of a nut brown.
Why, you grow old, Sir John.
Old? What call ye old? I am a little more than 60, and Methuselah lived to near 1,000. Why may not I be a patriarch, and beget sons and daughters these 100 years myself?
Then you must get a wife, Sir John, for your common fields, you know, never bear clover.
Marry? What, to be made a cuckold of, I warrant ye?
Why, Sir John, if you should marry, you would not like to be singular, I suppose?
Nay, for the matter of that, all's one. But who will have me? Your dames of breeding are too fine and sinnicking for me to bear with them.
Aye, or for them to bear you either, Sir John.
Nay, whoever has me, she must be no tenderling. She must be none of your gingerbread lasses that will crumble to pieces in the tousling. She must be none of your wishy-washy Pananda gentry neither, your curd and whey gentlefolks that cannot support the embraces of a soldier. I must have a kixie-wixie of more substantial stuff.
Why, Sir John, what say you to Madame Ursula, your old sweetheart? You have courted her, to my knowledge, these 20 years last past. I suppose you know her great aunt is dead, and has left her 400 marks a year?
No, by the Lord, I heard nothing on't. She sent me a letter indeed, into Gloucestershire, but I was over a bottle, it would not interrupt the glass to read it. I knew it was hers by the superscription, which, by the way, however, was as unintelligible as the handwriting on the wall. It had never reached me had not the bearer been a decipherer. Go, Bardolph, and fetch it. You will find it among other trumpery in my cloak-bag.
Exit Bardolph. Scene 7. Tavern continued. Falstaff solus.
400 marks a year, quoth he. It were not an unreasonable competence, were not shares comparatively so dear. But if the female encumbrance on it should turn out a shrew, the Lord have mercy on me, in paying off the sins of my youth. Let me bethink me, 400 marks a year. I have, it is true, small hopes from Hal, and shall grow old some time or other. These aches in my limbs forebode it. I cannot hold out forever, that's certain. Were it not good, therefore, to make a virtue of necessity, and take up while I am in case to recap the credit of reformation? Could I reconcile it to my interest, I believe my inclination would follow.
Scene 8. Tavern continued. Re-enter Bardolph.
There, Sir John, is the letter.
Come on, let us see if we are master of so much Arabic as to find out her meaning.
Reads.
Why, Dame Ursula, thou hast a memory. I could have credited thee for subtlety, on account of that old friend to woman, the serpent. But how thou couldst remember for 15 years together what money I owed thee, that indeed I cannot account for. I have myself forgot it long since. She tells me here I have borrowed 500 pounds of her at times, as tokens of my love. By the Lord, and as I am a soldier, I will love her still, and she shall command semblable proofs of it.
Reads on.
Repayment of the money, or the performance of my engagements? Who? Am I then to be married on compulsion? That will go most damnably against the grain. But hold, if I marry, her money will be mine. If not, she may cease to lend when she pleases, and the fortune of that man is always at the turning of the tide that depends on the caprice of a woman.
Why marry her then, Sir John? I dare say she has heard nothing of your disgrace at court, so that she won't stand upon terms.
Marry, Bardolph, and I am half resolved to do so. Yea, by the Lord, and I will too. She has besides 2,000 pounds in money. I will courageously make the attack, and mount the breach of matrimony. If I fall into the hands of Philistines, why, good night. It is but going into purgatory a few years before my time, Bardolph. Get me pen and ink in the Cupid. Thou shalt be one of love's messengers. I will write to her in trope and figure, metaphor and hyperbole, carry all before them with the women. Let her resist lies and nonsense, if she can.
Exeunt. Scene 9. An apartment at court. Enter King Henry, the Earl of Cambridge, and Lord Scroop. King, entering, to Scroop.
I thank thee, Scroop, and to thy zeal and care commit the business of fair Nell's disposal. Meantime, my lord, on more important matter, I need your honest counsel. My good Lord Cambridge, will you give me too his thoughts upon the business?
My liege, you do me honour.
Not a whit. You heard what late the Archbishop moved in council respecting the disposal of church benefices. His Grace has laid a paper since before us, wherein he stands up stoutly for his temporals.
Doubtless, my liege, if churchmen had their will, The best of them would never give consent to strip the church of its overgrown possessions, though half the nation's wealth were in her hands.
But what is thy opinion, honest Scroop? Is't not injustice to deprive the church of those possessions dying men have willed by legal testament?
The public good I hold, my sovereign liege, to be the first great rule of right and wrong. The rights of individuals hence are sacred no longer than conducing to the public. Is't for your majesties or England's honour that half our glee be holden by the church, to fatten monks and pamper lazy friars, that swarm like pestful locusts o'er the land?
What faith, my lord of Cambridge?
The point, my liege, is truly nice and tender, so deep the interest of the church is rooted, while such regard implicitly it claims from every true believer, that I doubt if such a step can with success be taken. I own I never profited as yet from aught that Wycliffe or his tribe have taught, holding it sacrilege to rob the church.
Not more than I, my pious Earl of Cambridge. Nor have I profited by Wycliffe's doctrine. But who will call a den of thieves the church? Why, hold we Edward's memory so dear, but that thou knowest in his glorious reign the famous Mortmain statue was enacted. Happy for England that had else, ere now, a nation been of monasteries and churches, paying allegiance to its king, the Pope.
Ay, Scroop, there lies the sore. The king, our father, out of a holy zeal to Mother Church, slackened the reins of that prerogative the Edwards held so tight upon the clergy. Hence new encroachments, and a bold contempt of our authority from Rome.
As touching this, my liege, the Holy See has doubtless gone too far, in granting cures to monks and laymen, and in dispensations for their non-residents, and other articles injurious to the honour of the crown.
Nor less injurious to its interest, Cambridge. Believe me, Rome consults its prophets more than that our priests deserve the cure of souls. Say to what end the clergy should be rich, but to lay out their wealth where it improves. I do not mean in heaven, my gracious liege. They lay not up in store their treasures there, but where preferments may be bought, at Rome. It is to Rome their plate and moneys fly, to fee ecclesiastical sycophants, to nurse rebellion, and inflame the minds of bigot subjects against their lawful sovereigns.
My liege, the Dukes of York and Exeter, with the young princes, pass along the gallery.
Go, bid them in.
Exit Cambridge.
Scroop, let this subject of the clergy rest. I will resume it at a proper season, and hold thee farther question on the matter.
Scene 10. Apartment continued. Enter Cambridge with the Dukes of Gloucester, Bedford, Clarence, York, and Exeter.
Well, my good lords, what is the news of the day? Hear we nothing yet from our brother Charles concerning those same dukedoms we've required, or which he lords it in our realm of France?
As yet, my liege, we've naught but vague reports. These say, indeed, the haughty French affect to treat your highness' claim with proud disdain. That Charles referred your envoys to the Dauphin, whose messengers, already on the way, may hourly be expected.
To the Dauphin? I sent them to the king.
Most true, my liege, but going hence before your coronation, 'tis said, weak Charles has taken thence occasion to cast affront upon your royalty.
'Tis well. The Dauphin's answer shall suffice. Would it were come, I long, methinks, to hear the message Charles himself disdained to send. I would not, for his sake, it should give cause to make him blush for his young heir's discretion. Our cousin's wit, we're told, is passing shrewd, though oft ill-timed, and hurtful to his friends. Let him beware, mine was no idle errand, and well deserved a king's most serious answer.
The son's discretion may yet match the sire's, who with such unadvised affectation presumes to treat your majesty so lightly.
Affect contempt? A skipping meagre tribe, and shall the ape unpunished mock the lion? By heaven, my liege, I would so well chastise them.
My lords, our judgment hold we in suspense until these French ambassadors arrive. For heaven defend we should, in pride or wantonness, awake the fury of grim-visaged war, to wave her bloody banner o'er a kingdom, and reap with the sword the harvest of destruction. Yet, to say truth, I cannot flatter me so fierce and formidable a power as France at once will yield to part with her possessions, in pure regard to justice and our right, restoring quietly upon demand those fertile dukedoms, seigneuries, and towns that add the greatest lustre to the crown and constitute the strength of half the kingdom.
On that most politic and just suspicion, wisely your highness doth augment your forces, levying new powers to keep in awe the Scots, and in your absence curb domestic broils, while taking meet advantage of the time, you may by force acquire what force detains.
Uncle, this is most needful, see we. Therefore, our warlike preparations do not flag. Be we prepared that, as occasions serve, we may transport our powers across the main, and on the spot our rightful cause maintain.
Excellent. Scene 11. An apartment. Dame Ursula and Bridget attending.
And do you think, Bridget, Sir John will at last be as good as his word, then? How sits my ruff today? I would thou hadst bought me one of those new-fashioned farthingales.
Oh, madam, you are mighty fine, as it is, truly, and I am sure Sir John can do nothing less than admire you.
Thinkest thou so, Bridget? Why, to be certain, a peach-coloured satin does become my complexion hugely. But I think the roses are faded in my cheeks. Well, no matter. He might have gathered them 20 years ago, had not he been a rover. I hope, however, he has sown all his wild oats before now, and that I shall yet have the satisfaction to be called my Lady Falstaff.
To be sure, madam, and though Sir John is but a knight at present, he will very assuredly, now the young king is crowned, be made a great lord, and may be a duke. Indeed, madam, I cannot think of less.
And then, shall I be a duchess? Bridget, Dame Ursula, a duchess.
Ay, madam, that will be a day to see, if I am so happy as to be in your grace's favour.
For certain, Bridget, thou shalt. Well, I must confess, in spite of my blushes, I do love Sir John Falstaff. How like a scholar and a gentleman he writes.
Takes out a letter and reads.
To my soul's idol, the mirror of love and constancy. Constancy! He might well say constancy, for who among the Gilflets of these days has reserved, like myself, the same affection for the same man for 20 years together? It is true indeed. I have not had any other offer in the meantime. But that doubtless has been owing to my supposed engagements with Sir John, that frightened away all other young cavaliers. Well, this love is a strange thing. There is Sir John has deceived me 1,000 times, and yet, I know not how, he always persuaded me he was sincere.
A sure sign you loved him, madam.
And yet, to be sure, before I received this letter, I thought I should never hear from him again, and had almost come to a resolution to cast him entirely off.
In good sooth, madam, and that is very prudent, to cast off a lover when we find he will leave us.
I think so, and not a little imprudent to do it before, for one of my years at least.
Why, madam, you are not so old.
Indeed, but I am old enough to know I ought not to part with one lover till I am sure of another.
To be sure, madam, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, but the sport of hampering the rogues who are at liberty is so vastly pretty.
Aye, if we were sure of catching them at last. But Bridget, how often do they escape through our fingers and give us the slip? Besides, it is for younger lasses than I to go bird-catching. I cannot throw salt on the tail of a sparrow now.
Oh, madam, we shall see that. Sir John will be here presently.
Bless us. Bridget, here he comes. Introduce him and leave us.
Exit Bridget. Scene 12. Same apartment, continued. Enter Falstaff.
Well, my fair princess, see thy wandering knight?
Welcome to London, Sir John. Thou art indeed a wanderer.
A true knight-errant, for thy sake.
For my sake, Sir John.
Aye, for thine, my Helen. Have I not encountered tremendous giants and fiery dragons, and the rebels of Northumberland and Wales, and then for magicians and enchanted castles? Owen Glendower and his Welsh devils we put to the rout, and many a stronghold between here and Westchester have I visited, releasing fair damsels and distressed squires from captivity. I brought 2 of the latter up to town. I would they were safely immured in the country again.
And all these exploits for me, Sir John?
As I am a true knight, to lay my laurels at thy feet.
Do you then still love me in sincerity, Sir John?
Do I love thee? Am I a soldier? Have I courage? Love thee? I will be thy Troilus, and thou shalt be my Cressida.
You have long told me so, indeed.
And can I lie? Thou shalt be sole possessor of my person and wealth. Thou shalt share in the honours done me at the court of the new king. Thou shalt, but what shalt thou not do? We will be married incontinently.
Oh, Sir John, you know your own power and our sex's weakness. But indeed, for decency, I cannot so speedily consent. Besides, Sir John, I am not yet put into possession of my estate and moneys.
Ay, then, as thou sayest, love, for decency's sake, we must bear with a short delay. But I will no longer be kept out of possession than thou art.
You shall not, Sir John, and in the meantime, our lawyer shall confer on the terms of our marriage.
I hate lawyers. Let a priest suffice. Am not I a man of honour? To do thee less than justice were a sin. Give me thy lips. We'll settle all within.
End of Act 3. Act 4 of Falstaff's Wedding, 1760 version, by William Kenrick. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4, Scene 1. A tavern in Eastcheap. Sir John Falstaff sitting at a table. Enter Bardolph.
Sir John, here is the oblin friar again that has been so often to ask after you. Shall we say you are at home?
Aye, let him in. What can the gouty precision want with me?
Enter Friar.
Peace be with you. Sir John, God save ye.
Thank thee, good father. What is your reverence's will?
I think thou dost not know me, Sir John. 'Tis indeed many years since our personal intimacy. Your way of life and mine
or something different, father, to be sure. And though I may have seen you before, it is so long since I have been at shrift, that I must crave your pardon if I have totally forgot ye. And yet your reverence may be my ghostly father, for aught I know.
Fie, fie, Sir John, man of your age and gravity.
Oh, if your business be to chide me, I shut mine ears.
If you will not admit your wound to be probed, how can you expect to be cured, Sir John?
Cured? 'Sblood, I took thee for a priest, and I find thou art a surgeon.
A spiritual one, Sir John, and such as your disorder requires.
Dost thou know my case, then? A spiritual surgeon, sayest thou? I am not given over by the surgeons bodily yet. Who call in the divines till they have sent out the doctor?
I know your case well, Sir John. It is perhaps less your body than your mind that is infected.
Nay, like enough. I have indeed been damnably dispirited ever since the king's coronation. A confounded melancholy hangs upon me, like a quotidian ague.
It is that melancholy and the cause of it, Sir John, I would remove.
And how wouldst thou remove it? By providing me with a charge of horse, and restoring me to the king's favour? I know no other way.
By inducing thee to repent, and be restored to the favour of the King of Kings, which thou hast forfeited by a dissolute and abandoned life. Dost thou not think thou art in a state of reprobation?
Pray, friar, by what authority dost thou take upon thee to catechize me? Dost thou come out of mere charity, or art thou employed by thy superiors?
Suppose the former, Sir John.
Suppose the former, Father Friar. Why then the devil is so strong in me that I should be tempted to throw thee headlong down stairs for thy charitable impertinence.
Thy ill manners, Sir John, will be inexcusable were it not to be supposed the consequence of a habitual antipathy to everything that is good. But I will not lay claim to greater merit than is my due. I am come by order of my Lord Chief Justice, who was so much your friend as to interest himself in your reformation.
My Lord Chief Justice, that's another matter. I cry thee mercy, Reverend Father. I find thou'rt not the man I took thee for. Your reverence does me honour, and I profess I am much indebted to his lordship's kind love and regard to my soul's health.
You'll hear me then, Sir John?
Yea, heaven forbid I should not. What I said was meant against those officious zealots who are so forward to pry into men's consciences that will not bear the looking into.
Sir John, we know your failings, and shall not put you to the trouble of auricular confession at present.
There, friar, thou winst my heart. Come, sit thee down. Wilt drink a glass of sack?
I never do, Sir John.
I cry thee mercy, then. Here is it your reverence's health. And now I'll tell thee what. I do protest I sit me now upon the stool of repentance, and have been honestly deliberating, some time past, to change my course of life. I am heartily tired of it. Indeed, I am, good father.
I am glad to find thee in such promising dispositions. I think thou couldst not do better than to betake thyself, agreeable to his lordship's intentions, to some monastery, where thou wilt be secluded from temptations, and have all spiritual assistance to encourage thee to mortify the desires of the flesh.
Hold thee there, good father. Let me understand thee. What? Would his lordship make a monk out of me? I must there beg his pardon. A monk? And to mortify the flesh? For heaven's sake, good father, consider what a mortification indeed that must be to me, who have 6 times the quantity of any other man. If I must be included within the pale of the church, why not make a canon of me? Not indeed a minor canon, but a prebendiary or a bishop now, something might be said for either of these. But for a monk, I know not anything I am less fit for, unless indeed his lordship had meant to make a running footman of me.
Nay, Sir John, his lordship would not use compulsion in this. He will not so far lay a restraint on your inclinations.
Oh, if I ever find myself that way inclined, his lordship may depend on it, I shall be as ready as ever to follow my inclinations. But the lesson of lean and fallow abstinence is very long and hard, good father. I am not gotten halfway through the first chapter yet.
Some steps, however, Sir John, you must take towards a more reputable way of life, and that speedily too. Otherwise you'll be stripped of the honours of knighthood. The king's sentence of banishment will be strictly put into execution against you.
As to the matter of knighthood, once a knight, and always a knight, you know. The king may make as many knights as he pleases, but he will not so easily unmake them again. My title will not depend on the king's courtesy, but on that of my followers. I am, notwithstanding, very desirous to give his lordship satisfaction, and do assure thee, on the honour of a soldier, of the sincerity of my repentance.
And yet this may be only a transitory penitence, owing to your late disappointment. What reason canst thou give me to hope this state of mind will continue?
My father, what I am shortly going to do is an act that can find many a man to a state of repentance, which hath continued to the last hour of his life.
This, Sir John, is saying something. Pray, what are you going to do?
I have taken a resolution, father, to... What dost thou think now it is I have resolved upon?
Some commendable act of penance, no doubt.
Nay, it may well be called so, I believe. I am determined, good father, to marry.
Call you that an act of penance, Sir John? Is marriage a state of mortification?
I wish I may not find it so.
Well, Sir John, marriage is a holy state, and in some degree I approve your resolution. But in the estimation of the Church it is also a holy act, and ought not to be entered into unadvisedly. Your repentance should precede your receiving the benefit of that sacrament.
Oh, doubt not, but I shall repent me sufficiently afterwards.
Ah, Sir John, I fear me you are no true penitent. But, however, it may be lawful to salve what cannot be effectually cured. I did not expect to make a convert at the first interview. If thou takest any measures that tend toward reformation, thou shalt have my prayers, and best assistance therein. Another time I will hold farther conversation with thee.
In the meantime, good father, let me stand fair in your report to my Lord Chief Justice and his Majesty.
Thou shalt stand fairer than I fear thou deservest. Farewell.
Exit Friar. Scene 2. Tavern continued. Falstaff solus.
Fare thee well, good father friar. What an hypocritical Puritan! Would not drink sack, not with the ungodly, I suppose. But I am damnably mistaken if he be not indebted for that rosy countenance and the gout to the penetrating qualities of old Sherris. Bardolph, get ready to attend me forth, out toward St. Paul's.
Exit. Scene 3. An apartment at court. Enter King, Lord Scroop, and others.
The French ambassadors, they shall have audience. But first we shall dispatch the saucy legate.
My liege, he comes, and with my lords the bishops.
Scene 4. Apartment continued. Enter Archbishop of Canterbury, the Pope's legate, and other bishops.
Heaven shower its choicest blessings on your majesty. May conquest, honour, peace, and length of days attend your glorious reign. My liege, the nuncio.
Well, my lord cardinal, your reverence hath Fresh dispatches from the court of Rome? What is their tenor?
Such as well becomes the court of Rome, His Holiness our Master, the delegate of heaven, and first in power of all the kings and princes in the world. Him at whose feet obedient monarchs bow, as unto God's vicegerent here on earth. In substance, this, your majesty, must yield.
Must? Lordly priest, where didst thou learn thy manners?
Aside.
That word will work.
Lord, where didst thou? I spoke unto the king.
Lord Scroop, your love and zeal make you too bold.
Your Highness, pardon me, but you're too good to grant an audience to the ill-mannered priest who dares to cast such insult upon majesty. Must yield, my liege.
Proceed, Lord Cardinal.
In few, King Henry, nothing will his holiness abate of those pretensions he hath founded respecting the disposal of church gifts, and the provision made by the Holy See for any priest or bishop in the realm, by me enjoining hence the King of England to put them peaceably in full possession of all the temporalities that now or heretofore were known to them belonging.
And all this must be done.
I must, my liege.
Enough. Lord Cardinal, we understand ye, and as we labour here in some necessity.
Yet more, His Holiness requires that law should be repealed, which now declares it treason to levy contributions on the clergy for spiritual use without consent of Parliament.
'Tis well, thus much for us, and now for you. Your excellence must take that loyal oath your predecessor took in Richard's time. Dost thou remember't, Uncle Exeter?
It is, my liege, that he shall neither act, permit, or cause whatever to be acted, that's detrimental to the king's prerogative, or laws of the kingdom, that he'd execute no bulls or mandates hurtful to your person, the rights of the crown and legal constitution, and more particularly never send our jewels, plate, and moneys hence abroad, without a license from the king and council.
This, my Lord Cardinal, for you, the rest we'll send by special envoy to the Pope.
Impose an oath on me? Mistaken, Prince. I am the servant to the King of Heaven, and do allegiance unto none but him, and to his representative at Rome.
See that thou take this oath in 3 days' time, or, henceforth, let me see thy face no more. But leave our kingdom, as you prize your life. Nay, make no reply. I'll hear no more.
Exit King and Lords. Scene 5 continued. Manand, Archbishop of Canterbury, Legate, and other bishops.
Lord Cardinal, you are too bold and peremptory. Did not I tell you this was not your way? That Henry was not to be intimidated?
You did. I have indeed o'ershot the mark. I see the error now, but say, my lord, what's to be done?
For Rome I fear not much, for as for us of England's clergy, we can aid you little. We shall have much to do to save ourselves. Nay, to do this I see no other means than that of giving such a mighty sum as may suffice the present wants of the court. This may perhaps defer the evil day in which the laity will strip the church. But let's my lords to Lambeth. There are met our other reverend brethren, the lords bishops. There we'll continue together on our grievance.
Exeunt all but the legate. Scene 6 continued. Legate, solus.
And is it thus? I then will take this oath, for hence I will not, till this upstart king shall stoop and kiss the rod of my correction. No, I will stay and sow the seeds of discord, till, like the fabled dragon's teeth of old, they shoot up into rebels armed against him. The imprisoned Mortimer, the legal heir, is a pious friend to Rome. He shall be king, or I will spread so wide the scene of blood that England shall be one continued slaughterhouse. The French despise the haughty stripling's claim, and doubtless will assist in this good work. I'll get a mandate sent express from Rome that shall absolve his subjects of allegiance. Harry, sit fast, or quickly thou shalt know how dangerous 'tis to make the church thy foe.
Scene 7. A street. Enter Justice Shallow and Master Slender.
Take me this letter, I say, to Sir John Falstaff. That is his fottling house. I will maul his cloak back of chitterlings with my rapier, as I may.
And will you fight him, cousin? Well, hang me, if I carry the challenge. I never could abide the thoughts of cold iron. Even a key put down my back for a bloody nose. Ugh. Would always set me a-shuddering.
Don't tell me, if the law will not get me my money, I'll be revenged of him. That tan-bellied knave shall not make such a fool of me. I'll have his blood or my money.
His blood? Oh, Lud, oh, Lud. Why, cousin Shallow, you are enough to—
Carry me this letter, I say, to Sir John Falstaff. What is it to you? If I am killed, you are my heir, and come in for my land and beeves. So do as I bid you.
Slender, aside.
Ecod, that's true. I did not think of that. If my cousin's killed, I come in for his estate. Aye. Give it me. I'll carry him the challenge. Hey, here he comes with this bottle-nosed man that picked my pocket.
Aye, he would pass without seeing us.
Scene 8. Street continued.
Sir John Falstaff.
Sir John, Justice Shallow calls you.
What would the blade of spearmint have with me? I have done with him.
But I have not yet done with you, Sir John. I would first have my £1,000 of you again.
You would, Master Shallow, like enough. You must take me then in the humour. I am at present ill-disposed to your suit.
Tut, Sir John, I have said I will not tamely put up with this wrong. If I do, I shall be flouted and gibbed to death. I shall be pursued by the mockery of a whole 100.
Not unlikely. But believe me, the more you bustle in this business, the more you will expose yourself, the more you stir. You know the proverb, Master Shallow. It is a little homely, so let that pass. Yet let me advise thee, rest content.
Content? I am not content. I cannot be content. Nay, I will not be content. Give me back the money, or I will have satisfaction of thee.
Satisfaction, sayest thou? Why, thou wilt not dare me to the combat.
Such provocation would make a coward fight, Sir John.
If it make thee fight, I'll be sworn it would, for I have seen thee tremble at the shaking of a wheat ear.
To be bamboozled? Cheated? Laughed at? I will not put it up. By heavens, I will not put it up.
Well said, Master Shallow. Now I see there's mettle in thee, but surely thou wouldst not be the first to break the peace, thou whose office it is to punish the breach of it.
Sir John, There are times and reasons for all things. If you will neither give me my money nor gentleman's satisfaction, I will have thee tossed in a blanket for a poltroon as thou art.
They must be stout carles, Master Shallow, that toss me in a blanket.
Well, well, we shall see. I'll parley with you no longer. Cousin Slender, don't stand shall I, but give him the note.
Aye, if Cus is killed, I shall have his estate, and so there's the challenge.
Exeunt Shallow and Slender. Scene 9 continued. Falstaff and Bardolph.
A challenge! By the Lord, it is a challenge! I am called upon here to meet him at single rapier. Whew, what a turlaroo! In the name of common sense, is the fool turned madman? What means the simple Tony by this? To get his money again? Does he think by running me through the pericardium to become my heir at law? The fearful stag is at bay, and becomes desperate. But let me see. What's to be done here? I am in person too much of a knight to engage with so little a squire. I have it. Bardolph, I being your master and a knight, thou art by the laws of chivalry no less than a squire. Now, as I take it, this quarrel is properly thine. Thou must meet Justice Shallow at single rapier.
Aye, Sir John. He has no quarrel against me. The challenge is given to your honour.
True, but I tell thee my honour disdains to encounter a pitiful squire. Thou must take my sword and fight him.
I shall only disgrace your arms, Sir John.
Go to, you will do well. He knows nothing of the sword, and should he challenge thee at pistols, put a charge into each barrel, and present thy nose at him. He will never stand thy fire.
Indeed, Sir John, I must be excused. I never could fight in my life unless there was something to be got by it, for a booty on the highway or so.
Why, 'tis for £1,000, you rogue.
And where's the money?
At my cashier's.
Well then, Sir John, why should we fight for it?
Bardolph, thou art a coward, but no matter. I have a thought. I will meet him myself. See that my buckler be well lined that I fought with at Shrewsbury.
Exeunt. Scene 10. An apartment. Enter Lord Scroop and the Earl of Cambridge.
Now comes the season of commotion on. The French ambassadors have had their audience, and carry back defiance to their master. The nettled Harry arms, meantime, for France, inviting all the gallant youths of Britain to join his rashness in this expedition.
We must with him too.
Curse on his favour. Yes, he means, forsooth, to do us honour.
Had we stayed at home, we might perhaps have seized some fair occasion to strike the crown off his usurping head, and place it on the rightful brows of Mortimer. The legate is already our staunch friend, and France will aid our plot to ensure success. Yet still we cannot make our party strong while Harry keeps that eagle eye upon us. At every step we stumble on suspicion.
Why, if his eye offend thee, pluck it out.
Would he were out of the way.
Canst thou not send him? No time more opportune could have been wished than when, full-fledged and on the wing for France, his troops embarked and all intent on conquest, he means to follow. Might he not be sent a longer journey than from hence to Normandy?
Whither?
To heaven.
Would he indeed were there.
Couldst thou not strike a blow? A home one.
Ha!
Couldst not thy poniard steal into his heart?
'Twere better guided by some other hand. In open fight I could encounter lions. but bear no steady point in the trade of murder.
In open fight? And wouldst thou covet hazard? Who seeks through danger to obtain the end that may be reached without, may boast a heart, but gives strong proofs to the weakness of his head.
Scroop, I object not unto Harry's death, nor to the safest means to cut him off. I only would not be his executioner. Who means to profit by the murderer's work should never bear the odium of his guilt.
Scroop aside.
I did not mean you e'er should profit by it, but fear makes blockheads cunning. Cambridge, methinks thou shouldst be first to strike. Whose is the cause but Mortimer's and thine?
And yet I will not be myself the assassin. It would be both impoliticly and dangerous. I wonder, Scroop, thy prudence sees it not. Villains enow there are for such employ. Had we not better hire some ruffian's poniard? One whose miscarriage might not even reach us, and yet succeeding, on whose worthless head the vengeance of the public hate might fall. We seeming but the while to take the advantage of such an accident to raise up Mortimer.
Cursed on it! The affair is thine. There's not a villain money will bribe, but will his interest find as much in his betraying us.
I would not trust to interest alone, but a deep-grounded hate and fixed resentment against the usurper's person may do much.
Who bears him such good will?
The banished Falstaff, his late most hopeful tutor and companion, a finished villain.
Yes, too much a villain. Damn him, he has not honesty enough.
If but his hatred's amply keen 'twill do. And if I'm well informed, you now will find him for mischief ripe and thirsty for revenge.
Harry hath treated him, indeed, but roughly. But all such dastard wretches can forgive. Besides, they say he's but a blustering coward, that wears his dagger only in his mouth.
Yes, he can stab. This Scroop is coward's work. He hates young Harry, and with grounded reason. I cannot think but comes this task afoot. He is a most proper villain.
I will sound him, and as I find him fitting into our purpose, will seek to bind him safe into our service. Meantime, neglect not thou Sir Thomas Grey, who wishes well to thee and to our cause.
I will not.
Neither is it less expedient to teach thy sword less honour and more safety. Say Harry falls, 3 brothers yet remain, and ere thyself or Mortimer succeed, the sons of Bolingbroke must freely bleed.
Exeunt severally. Scene 11. A field. Enter Falstaff.
Aha! Aha! What a vile mist there is abroad this evening! I cannot see a sword's length before me. This must be the spot. But where is our adversary? I would not have him, methinks, lost in the fog. Master Shallow! Master Shallow!
Scene 12. Enter Shallow, stripped for the combat.
Aye, Sir John, here am I.
Saints and good angels guard us. What is this?
Come, Sir John, draw.
It calls me by my name, too. Jesu Maria! It is no deceptio visus. In the name of heaven and earth, what art thou? Ophi, fairy, ghost, hobgoblin, or demon? Exorcio te, pater noster.
Come, Sir John, don't think to put me from my purpose. You know me very well. You know Justice Shallow to his cost.
How? Can this thing be Robert Shallow of Gloucestershire, Esquire, Justice of the Peace and of the Quorum? I took it for some strolling ghost escaped out of purgatory. By all that's terrible.
Sir John, this mockery shall not suffice you.
Nay, it is true, as I am a sinner.
Will you fight me, Sir John, or will you not?
Fight thee, when thou seest the princely eagle descend to encounter with the tomtit? What? Shall the lofty elephant wield his proboscis against a mite? Shall Sir John Falstaff draw his martial sword against such a pigwidgeon as thou?
What then did you come here for, Sir John? If you would not be treated as a coward, lay down your target and draw.
Lay down my target, sayest thou? Who would be fool then? Look ye, Master Shallow, since shallow thou wilt be. If I fight, it must be on equal terms. It is but equitable that my body should be secured when I engage with an unsubstantial form, a thing that has none. Dost thou think me such a goof-cap as to lay open this fair round belly to the point of thy rapier, when thou presentest not a mark for me? It were as good as pricking at a lottery, 10,000 blanks to a prize, to make a thrust at thee. It were indeed more than a miracle to hit what, rhetorically speaking, is impalpable. But come, if thou must fight with me, thou shalt not say I deal unfairly by thee. To draw my sword would be needless, for hit thee I never shall. That's flat. Therefore, Toledo, rest thou in thy scabbard. This is my ward.
Stands on his defence with his target.
Carry thy point as thou wilt. If thou canst not come into me before thou art weary, the money is mine. If thou dost, and woundest me, I will then keep it to pay the surgeon. So, come on.
Sir John, you are a cowardly knave, and I will kill you if I can.
They fight. Mr. Shallow thrusts at Sir John, who receives his point always on his target.
Well said, Master Shallow. Bravo! Do it again. Sa!
Shallow breaks his sword, and Falstaff closes with him and seizes him by the collar, on which Shallow falls down on his knees, and Falstaff claps the target on his head.
Ha! Have I nabbed you? You should have appointed sticklers, Mr. Shallow. What if I should cut thy throat now?
Taking off the target.
Sir John, my life is in your hands, but you know you have wronged me.
Well then, thy wrongs be forgotten, and on that condition I give thee back thy forfeited life.
And I hope, also, you won't bear malice, Sir John, against me for the future.
By the Lord, not I. I do admire thy magnanimity and valor. Why, thou art the very mirror of prowess, and pink of squire errantry. John of Gaunt was a fool to thee. Were I a king, thou shouldst for this day's work be made a knight with all the honours of chivalry. Nay, by Our Lady, I will take majesty upon me and knight thee myself. Rise up, Sir Robert Shallow, knight of the most horrible order of combatants and murderers of the 5th button. And now, Sir Robert, if thou dost not think the title of life bestowed on thee worth £1,000 I owe, I give thee my word that when sack is cheap and I have money to spare, I will think of thee. And so farewell, Sir Robert Shallow, knight.
Exit Falstaff. Scene 13. Shallow soulless.
The devil sure is in fee with this roasting Belfogger. There is no good to be made of him anyway. I find I must perforce fit me down contented, and bear my loss as I may. I hope, nevertheless, to see the rascal come to gallows yet. Oh, were I sure that once would come to pass, that he might pay for making me an ass.
End of Act 4. Act 5 of Falstaff's Wedding, 1760 version, by William Kenrick. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5, Scene 1. An apartment. Enter Friar Paul and Eleanor Poins.
Daughter, 'twas indiscreet so long to hide this rude behaviour of Lord Scroop from me.
Alas, good father, 'Twas for that I feared he might increase the anger of the king. Nor should I now have told your reverence aught, but that I fear he means this very night to do a violence I dread to think of.
Rash man! Impossible, he cannot mean it. Yet I know not why, from time to time, he hath put off the hour of your retreat. Yet fear thou naught, myself will be your guardian until tomorrow, when thou shalt go hence, and be no longer subject to his power. By holy Paul, the king is much deceived. He never so would trifle with my character, as it should seem, by this same lord he doth. See, he comes. I and our brother Lawrence, who waits without, will take care to be near thee.
Exit Friar. Scene 2. Apartment continued. Enter Lord Scroop.
Well, my hard-hearted fair, what cruel still? Those icy looks would freeze me to the soul, did I not flatter me the glowing fires that warm my breast will melt thee soon to love. Why silent, love? And why this killing coldness? Hast thou no sympathy, my gentle Nell? Dead to the embraces of a lover's arm, you catch no spark of his consuming flame?
My lord, I beg you cease this persecution. Have I not assured thee not the world should bribe my soul to such avowed pollution?
Away with all this artifice. I tell you, King Harry sets no value on your constancy. Your prince, fair ladies, wonderfully changed. Nor is he more the gentle thing he was, when he would skip about a harlot's chamber, and act the page of every ambling nymph that pleased to send him on her gossip's errand.
I never knew him, lord, so very gentle. That very tame, unmanly thing you speak of. But this I dare be confident to hope, however his heart be changed respecting me, he will do justice to his lowliest subject. Nor am I yet so destitute of means. But my complaints may reach the royal ear.
And dost thou brave me then, minx paramount? Know that I govern Harry as a child, who thinks nor acts but as I tune his will. Renounce thy scruples, therefore, at my pleasure, or he shall give thee up to want and beggary. Thou shalt not have withal to buy thee bread, but earn it at the price of shame and wantonness.
Indeed, my lord, indeed.
Nay, thou dost weep. Come on, I will not chide thee. Thou'lt be kind. I come to take of thee a long farewell. The king's already on his way for France. I've but a few short moments to be blessed, and then must speed me after. To your chamber, come, my fair Nell, or let me gently force thee.
Forbear, my lord, I pray, my lord, forbear. Nay, then I call for help. What? Help! Oh, help!
Scene 3. Apartment continued. Enter Friars Paul and Lawrence.
Hold, hold, my lord, this rudeness is too much. I am the guardian of this lady's person, a charge delivered by the king himself, and will not bear to see her thus insulted.
Thou busy priest, be straightway gone and leave us, or I will persecute thee to thy ruin. Art thou the old paramour of this same harlot, or playest thou but the advocate of others, whose lustful blood boils fiercer than thine own? If so, be gone, and know thine office better. There is my purse. Go wait, I say, without.
My lord, this mean abuse but ill becomes you. But no, I will not go. My character and innocence protect me, nor shall you stay to repeat your insults on this fair one.
Who shall prevent me?
Offers to draw, but is hindered by Friar Lawrence, who, standing behind, seizes his sword.
Hell and vengeance! Where are my servants?
I, my lord, dismissed them.
Priest, you shall hear of this. Shall thou hear of it? Give me my sword.
Not while you're thus impatient.
No, keep it. I will answer it to the king.
Thou answerest to the king, thou paltry friar.
Yea, by my life and loyalty I will. Therefore, my lord, 'twere better you retire.
I will, and to thy ruin, bandy priest. Thou, harlot, art provided for, I see, with these two brawny friars. Thou shalt rue it.
Exits group. Scene 4. Apartment continued.
Alas, good father, what is it you have done? I tremble for the event. This powerful lord is all in Royal Henry's favour.
Yet fear thou naught, though he were more than all, I have that in my hand,
showing a letter,
shall make this lord yet less than nothing. He's an arrant traitor. Just now a messenger inquired without for the Lord Scroop, whose servants all dismissed this unsuspicious fellow gave me this, beseeching its delivery on the instant. But, as I thought it might relate to thee, unseen I broke it open, when, good heaven, I found in't the suggestions of a traitor, plotting against our monarch's sacred life.
Against his life? From whence? Oh, who has sent it? Fly this instant, fly, and tell the danger.
I'll send immediate post unto the king.
But will not, brother, this rash lord return, and wreak revenge on us for what is past?
He hath not here a moment's time of leisure. I learn his majesty e'en now expects him down at Southampton. Hence without delay he must to horse. Yet to avoid mishap, go, brother Lawrence, and request a guard, which done, procure a messenger with speed to bear my letters to his majesty. Daughter, in peace retire. Meanwhile I'll write and bring his lordship's honest deeds to light.
Exeunt. Scene 5. At Southampton. An apartment. Enter Cambridge and Falstaff.
You know not, perhaps, my lord, that I am lately married, and if this plotting business should turn out a hanging matter, as in all likelihood it will, what will become of my wife? She will never get such another husband.
Cambridge aside.
Curse on this boggling villain! Would we ne'er had trusted him! But now there is no remedy.
And yet, upon second thoughts, if I get into one noose, I shall slip my collar out of the other, and so it may be in the end no great matter.
What, hesitation now? To noble minds how pleasant is the prospect of revenge! Think Harry Monmouth treads thee under foot.
How hath indeed used me but scurvily. But here's the point, my lord. I have most readily, on your persuasion, agreed to turn traitor, have entered into all your measures, and am come hither to Southampton, where my part of the matter is to be brought to conclusion. You are to get me introduced to the king, and, in revenge for his maltreatment of me, and to pave the way for Mortimer to the throne, I am to introduce a dagger between the short ribs of majesty, and send his grace to heaven.
Well, and why this vain recapitulation? Have we not answered your objections yet? Falstaff, I took thee for an honest villain that laughed at the impertinence of conscience. If thou hast scruples, my lord cardinal will banish them and give thee absolution.
My lord, I am no Puritan. I am no bigot to the church. I would not give a fig for a pocketful of my lord cardinal's absolutions. For I am, I confess, so much of a heretic that I think, if a man cannot in his own conscience acquit himself, all the priests in Christendom cannot do it. Now, my lord, I should blame myself highly if I should run the risk of being damned for—
Henry's a tyrant, Mortimer is heir. to free your country and to right the oppressed, will evermore be deemed heroic virtue.
I know, my lord, by the maxims of the Church, a man will sooner anathematized for killing a Hind whom no body wants out of the way, than a king who stands unluckily in the gap of so many loyal princes. I do not pretend to enter into the validity of Harry's title, but I know it is but the Church's calling him a tyrant, and absolving his subjects of their allegiance, and all will go well. Give a dog an ill name and hang him, my lord.
Ha! Sirrah, villain, dost thou mammer then? I'll stab thee. By this light thou shalt not live to—
Hold, my lord, what? Cannot you take a jest?
A jest, thou villain? Is our business jesting? Look to it. See you perform your promise roundly, or woe upon your life. Wench ever so little, the hand is ready that shall rip thee up, and tear thy coward conscience from thy heart.
'Sblood, my lord, I have no conscience. But as I should have told you, wouldst thou have heard me, that a man would not willingly run the risk of being damned for nothing? You have, you know, made me large promises. You tell me I shall be made a duke, I shall have my share in the division of the promised land, when Mortimer is king. Not that I doubt of your lordship's honour, but conspirators are so liable to accidents. As I do not expect my reward in the next world, it is but prudent to secure it in this. Doubt not of my being true to your cause, but give me some earnest of my future recompense.
What will content thee? Money thou hast had. Well, wouldst thou more than we can safely give? We'll put our lives no farther in your power, though yours depends on our security.
Well, my lord, I must then be content to trust to the success of our enterprise, and leave it to your honour to proportion my reward to my services.
In that be sure thou shalt be satisfied. Meantime go steel thy heart and whet thy poniard, that when the crisis comes thou mayst be ready, with hand and heart, to prove thyself our friend.
Exit Cambridge. Scene 6. Apartment continued. Falstaff solus.
I shall consider on it. Stab me, quoth he. He is by much too choleric for a traitor. But he will say he is none, being engaged in the behalf of the legal heir. That will be seen in the end, for those are ever the traitors who come to the block or the gallows. If Harry did not deserve to be damned for his ingratitude, it were as good a deed as to drink to turn true man, and impeach these conspirators. Yet there may be danger in that too. I must bethink me. But who comes here? Oh, my lady wife, who has followed me here down to Hampton, to be introduced to the king before he sets out for France. Should Harry take the other journey now, I shall be fairly rid of her importunities.
Scene 7. Apartment continued. Enter Lady Falstaff.
Well, Sir John, and now you have brought me thus far, when shall I be introduced to his Majesty?
I brought thee, my fair Queen of Sheba. It was thy love that brought thee hither, thy love for the king, whose pretty sweet face thou hast never seen. In troth, I shall be jealous of thee, lady spouse.
You should have said curiosity, Sir John.
Oh, it is the same, in effect. Love or curiosity will carry a woman without tiring to the world's end.
Ay, my leman, but it is not the same thing, for all that.
Well, I will not dispute with thee about words. Thou shalt talk thy own way, if thou wilt act mine.
Why, Sir John, I'm sure my talk cannot offend. I am no rattle.
A cherry clack in a high wind, that's all.
Go, Sir John. You are cursed today. I will leave ye. But mind, I insist on our seeing his Majesty before he goes to France. And they tell me the troops are almost all embarked.
Where goest thou, my Pigsney?
To my maids, to be sure.
Exit Lady Falstaff.
Ay, when thou mayst call names like a parrot, and chatter like a magpie, I will to my brother traitors, and see how mischief goes forward in the brewing.
Exit Sir John. Scene 8. The King's apartments. Enter King Henry and the Duke of Exeter.
These letters, sent in haste from Father Paul, are strange of tenor and of dread import, no less than of a treasonable design, hatching against our person and our throne.
Good heavens preserve your majesty. By whom?
I say not that, for God forbid the truth should not belie this honest friar's suspicions. For here he tells me that my seeming friend, the man I've worn the nearest to my heart, is false as hell, and seeks my crown and life.
Means he the Earl of Cambridge?
Why, good uncle, is he the only one I have distinguished?
No, my good liege, but that I've lately heard of his most frequent visits to the legate, who bears, I'm sure, your highness no good will, since last you taught him who was England's master. Lord Cambridge has besides a strange deportment, I cannot tell, but is a man I like not.
And yet you never hinted this before?
Never, my liege, for heaven forbid that aught, of I lose my fancy and mere wild conjecture, should injure any man in your esteem. I lightly hold my skill in physiognomy.
If such be your remarks, I not, good uncle, but give me too your thoughts of Baron Scroop.
My liege, I hold him for an honest man, discreet beyond his years, faithful and true, and one that has your highness's good at heart.
Nay, there you're out, or else the writer lies. He tells me here Lord Scroop's the very devil, and now is plotting with the Earl of Cambridge to take away my life, and set the crown upon the head of Mortimer.
Is't possible? How comes the friar by this information?
It seems he hath a letter intercepted, sent by the Earl of Cambridge to Lord Scroop, written in mystic characters, to which his reverence had the cunning to decipher, and is himself in person on the way to bring the letter and explain its meaning.
The friar was ever held a godly man, a learned and acute decipherer. But the Lord Scroop, well, so if it should prove, I ne'er will judge again by fair appearances. Will not your majesty arrest them straight, upon suspicion? 'Twere, my liege, but prudent. Who knows how ripe their devilish plot may be?
Uncle, forewarned, forearmed. In very short the informant will be here. Let's wait till then. If it no more should prove than vain suspicion, I would not cast upon them such reproach, nor soil their friendship with the doubts of treason.
Yet, the meantime, you will not sure give audience?
Why not, good uncle? Yes, I promised Cambridge to grant a private audience to old Falstaff. He hath, I'm told, begun a reformation. He shall not lack our countenance therein.
Audience to Sir John Falstaff. Private, too, my liege. There may be danger in the conference.
Uncle, there may, and if I eat or drink, walk, sit or stand, there may be danger too. There's not the simplest action of our lives, but is attended with its share of danger. I am not rash, but yet I hold it base, in fear of death, to live a slave to life. No, uncle, though perchance I die tonight, let me go through the business of today. Death cannot reach us in a happier hour than that in which it finds us in our duty. Fear not, my uncle. Providence will shield us. A guardian angel hovers round your king, and will protect him from the ruffian's poniard. And, for the rest, be it your care, good uncle, to keep an eye on these suspected lords. With speed And silence, let our guards be doubled, and be my uncle York and brothers near us.
My liege, I will. But yet I fear this Falstaff. Hath your grace heard of other reformation than what the Earl of Cambridge hath suggested?
I have, good uncle, even from Father Paul, who said the night was nigh to be well married. Belike he needs our countenance herein, if that our smiles will make our subjects good. We'll not deny them to the meanest vassal. Where are our brothers and our uncle York?
Exeunt. Scene 9. An apartment. Enter Lord Scroop and Cambridge.
Sir John hath now his lesson. Speed him forth when Harry falls to horse, and spur away, with a choice party of light troops, to Mortimer. Conduct him hither with the utmost speed. His guards, surprised, will stand not in resistance. Meanwhile, we'll seize the uncles and the brothers, as chief abettors of King Harry's murder. Nay, Falstaff shall declare they set him on, or, by yon heaven, we'll hang him Hammond's height. What troops are there embarked?
Even all but those o'er which we have command, and of Sir Thomas Grey, our loyal friend.
That's well contrived. I left the legate busy in raising moneys and fomenting treason. In 10 days' time half London will be ripe to spurn at sacrilegious hell, and join us. Ah, but here's Sir Thomas Grey.
Scene 10. Same apartment, continued. Enter Sir Thomas Grey.
How now, my lords? Why stay you loitering here? Is it not time Sir John should be at court?
It is yet time enough, but the hour moves slow when expectation sits upon the watch.
Sir Thomas, your impatience binds you to us, as one whose heart is bent on our success.
It is, but sure the time is drawing near. The king has bidden Falstaff's free admittance, but I have orders from the Duke of Exeter to double all the guards. What can that mean? I hope there's no suspicion got abroad. Should Falstaff now impeach us, we are lost.
Aye, that indeed would be a fatal stroke. And to say truth, I almost tremble for't.
Cambridge, thou art ever wavering as the wind. One moment rashly braving needless danger, the next suspicion making thee a coward. Impeach us? Let him. We will face him down. Unsay whatever he says, swear all his falsehood. Shall he gain credit against such men as we? Fixed, firm as rocks, we stand in hell's esteem, the first and fairest for our loyalty. And shall not we bear all before us down the lying evidence of Sir John Falstaff? Comes it to that, say nothing. Leave it to me. By heavens, I'll stare the fat-paunched coward dumb, and though he brought the gospel proof against us, will make him own it every word a lie. The cards are doubled let them be. They're under your command, Sir Thomas Grey, and we shall have the more for our assistance.
But if there be suspicion...
Think there none. They tell me, yesterday, a drunken carle attempted rudely to break into the presence. My life for it is on that account, no other. But come, the hour's at hand. Let us away. Mind well your cues, nor mar this bustling play. One short act more, and then the day is our own, and Mortimer shall clap us from the throne.
Exeunt. Scene 11. The King's apartments. Enter King Henry and Falstaff.
'Tis well, Sir John. And now, what is the suit for which you have so earnestly requested admittance to our person?
My liege, you'll pardon me if I should fail in point of ceremony, it being so long since I stood on forms, that I have almost forgot the punctualities of good manners.
Then to your business.
My business is, my liege, principally to make your majesty an unworthy present.
A present? Needed there so much formality, this intercession for thyself in person, to be the bearer of a paltry present? And to what end? Think not on any terms, but those of thy repentance and amendment, King Henry's favour ever can be purchased.
Nay, my liege, this present is not properly my own, nor indeed made with a view to my particular emolument. I am employed herein by certain great personages of your Majesty's court, who, I imagine, were afraid or ashamed to present so improper an offering in their own persons.
Trifler, what is't?
A dagger, my liege.
Ha!
Falstaff, kneeling.
See, here it is.
Presents it to the king and rises.
Your Majesty will doubtless pardon me that I fail in so material a part of my commission as that of lodging it deep in your left breast.
What traitor can have sent thee upon this so horrible a business?
The Earl of Cambridge, Scroop, and Thomas Grey, your Majesty's most loyal friends.
Good heaven! I see 'tis true. Thou, Father Paul, hast construed right their traitorous correspondence. But I will sound these hollow friends to the bottom. Falstaff, if this be true, I live to thank thee. But it behoves we should have further proof. If thou art honest, thou wilt stand the test, and face these peers thou darest to brand with treason.
Your grace will take me in your high protection, and I will prove it on them to their beards.
Fear naught, I will return to thee on the instant.
Exit King Henry. Scene 12. Apartment continued. Falstaff, Solus.
Now, my fine lords of Cambridge and of Masham, I think I'm even with you. I overheard them condemn me to the gallows. The monkeys would make a cat's paw of me, I see. They would have me commit murder for their sake, and hang me for it when I have done. In troth, these sprag peers with their quick wits are little better than asses after all. They confide in me truly, because they think I am a villain. Were it not a pity they should not find me so, they will no doubt deny this matter stoutly. But I've their letters. If my words be doubted, besides the circumstances I could.
Scene 13. Apartment continued. Enter King Henry with the Duke of York, the 3 young princes and attendants.
Call in my uncle Exeter. Where's Scroop and Cambridge?
In the antechamber with Sir Thomas Grey.
Enough. What ho? The guards, I say.
Scene 14. Apartment continued. Enter at one door the Duke of Exeter and guards. At the other, Lord Scroop, Cambridge, Sir Thomas Grey, with their swords drawn. They make up to the young princes as if to seize them, but start back on seeing the king.
Seize! Seize the traitors there! Arrest them all!
Who are they, lords? Put up. Here is but one.
Cambridge, aside.
All's lost.
Grey, aside.
All's ruined.
May heaven preserve your majesty. We feared some dangerous treason at the cry of guards, and therefore rushed thus armed into your presence.
My lords, I thank ye, and in right good time ye come to vindicate your noble characters against the aspersion of this villain traitor, who, with a bloody and malicious purpose, came here to seek our life. But, failing there, in that I wrested from him this same poniard, he dares, with matchless and assured countenance, charge you, my lords, and you, Sir Thomas Grey, my best, my nearest, dearest and worthiest friends, with being vile abettors of his treason. My lords, you speak not. Yet I do not wonder. Ye are struck dumb with horror and amazement. For what consummate villainy is that which can suggest men so resemble devils that they can wear an angel's outward form and yet be black at heart as hell itself? What shall be done, my lords, with this vile monster?
Thou hoary villain, thou ungrateful traitor, was it for this I fought unto his highness to have some pity on thy bending age, and take thee back again to grace and favour? Is this the fair return thou makest my kindness? By heaven, were't not in presence of the king, I would this instant pluck thee by the beard and stab thee to the heart. My sovereign liege, so dear I hold your highness's sacred person, that, for this execrably vile attempt, I think this horrid wretch should straight be sentenced and executed without further question.
And yet, my lord, the busy prating world, for ever envious of the good man's fame, might whisper still what his vile breath hath uttered. No, my good friends, ye shall be fully cleared. This wretch shall show at length before the world that what he has avowed is false, for true it cannot be. What traitor canst thou offer to prove your charge against these noble lords?
My liege, by good luck have I here 2 letters, sent by these lords to me, upon this business, the writing theirs, their signet too preserved.
Gives the letters to the king.
What, forgery too? Hast heaven no thunder left to strike this precious villain?
By heavens, a noble actor! 'Tis a pity he was not bred to the stage.
Cambridge, why, man, your quivering lip betrays you.
It is in vain. Let us at once confess.
Confess? Damnation! Hush, hush for your life!
Look here, my lords. Are these your signatures?
Flat forgery! And yet, good heavens, how like!
What art there is in diabolic natures! But if such things as these obtain in the world, not angel innocence on earth is safe.
My liege, it is no forgery. I can dare them to the proof.
Dare us, thou traitor? Thou must find the proof. But tell us here, before our sovereign's face, if thou hast sold thyself to hell for this, what devil furnished thee with seal and character so much resembling mine?
If they're not yours, it was indeed the devil, in likeness of yourself.
This is too much. What? In our presence thus to vent this insolence? Take him away.
Good, my liege.
Guards, take him hence.
Falstaff exit, guarded.
And now, my worthy lords, although I clearly see this traitor's purpose, I hold it meet that on this accusation you and our friend Sir Thomas Grey submit to have your innocence cleared up in form. This traitor doubtless hath accomplices. Will publish instantly reward and pardon for their discovery.
I hope your majesty has not a doubt as touching our allegiance.
My lord, I know your worth too well to doubt it, and also yours, Lord Cambridge and Sir Grey. Yet, to appear impartial to the world, and stop the mouth of every future censure, ye must be well contented, for a while, to bear ye as arrested for high treason. We will a while delay our embarkation, to bring this matter to immediate issue. So when the accuser's falsehood be made known, ye shall come forth again, like gold refined, by so much brighter as severe your trial. By heaven, I'd sooner lose my own right hand than any true and loyal heart that's here should suffer by the practices of treason. Uncle, a guard, ye now, good sirs, are prisoners.
The conspirators deliver up their swords.
Confiding in your highness's sacred word, we thus obey your pleasure. Nothing doubting, but from your majesty we shall have justice.
Scroop, Cambridge, and Grey are led off. Scene 15. Apartment continued.
Doubt it not. He shall have ample justice. Why, that vile Masham is deceit itself. I thought I should have shamed him to confession, but he is proof, I see, against all remorse. Are these the asps I've cherished in my breast, and warmed to life to thank me with their stings? Go, Uncle Exeter, and see them safe.
Exit Exeter.
My brother Gloucester, thou to Sir John Falstaff, and promise him our favour and protection.
Falstaff, my liege, the slave who sought your life?
That, my good brother, was indeed his errand, hired to that end by Cambridge, Scroop, and Grey. But he, though nothing but an outcast robber, once that I banished for his vicious courses, yet how much better than these bosom friends. He, brother Gloucester, played the villains false, and told me all their purpose. Bring him hither.
Exit Gloucester. Enter a page.
My liege, a reverend friar, post haste from London, desires admittance to your majesty.
'Tis Father Paul. Conduct him in.
Enter Friar Paul.
Good Father Paul, thrice welcome to Southampton. We thank thee for the advices thou hast sent us. Thy love and zeal shall not go unrepaid.
My liege, if aught my poor abilities can serve your majesty, I am bound on duty, and those services am well repaid.
Father, we thank thee. Thou hast brought that scroll of which thou gavest us notice in thy letters.
I have, my liege, and with your gracious leave I would unfold the characters before you, and show your majesty whereon I grounded my information against the censured peers.
Another time we'll listen to it at large, but Providence in their own toils hath caught 'em, and there remains no doubt of their defection.
Be all such traitors timely thus betrayed.
Give us the scroll. We'll see how this will work. My uncle York, go fetch the traitors in.
Exit York.
Heavens, what a worthy seeming wore these men! How smooth a face of innocence and loyalty! All gracious Providence, what thanks are due to thy preventing power for our deliverance.
Scene 16. Apartment continued. Enter York with the conspirators guarded.
My lords, I hope you're armed in your defence, with proofs as strong as those of your accusers. For whatsoever love I bear your persons, I cannot wrest the impartial hand of justice. The character of Falstaff was suspicious, but here's a man, I'm sorry, sirs, to find, joins also in suspecting you of treason.
Scroop aside.
Oh, Father Paul, what demon sent him here?
My lord of Cambridge, knowest thou of this letter? Look at it well, and mark the characters. Perhaps Lord Scroop, too, can decipher them.
Ah!
Cambridge aside.
Yes, I can see the hand of heaven is over us. I do, my liege, and thus upon my knees confess and plead for mercy.
Cambridge and Grey kneel.
And I.
Fire and furies! What is that scroll, my liege? I know it not.
Lord Scroop, I see thou brave it to the last. I do believe thou knowest not much of this. This friar, it seems, made bold to intercept it.
Scroop to Cambridge.
Curse on the meddling priest, and thee the fool, that sent such blunderers on such an errand. Nay, since all's lost, I boast the treason too.
Thou more than savage, most inhuman Scroop.
Nay, chide not, king. I heed not thy reproaches. I ask no mercy, for I know thou'lt have none. Thou art fortune's minion, and my head is thine. Take it when thou wilt. My folly has undone me. This son of York, 10,000 curses on him.
I do repent me, 'twas indeed my cause, and would my life alone could pay the forfeit.
Thy cause, thy grovelling peer, and dost thou think I meant to raise up Mortimer or thee? No, ye were only tools to my ambition that soared a higher pitch. Think not, King Henry, in hate of thee I sought thy crown and life, or that the love I bore the house of York taught me to mix with such vile, heartless traitors. No, for myself alone I sought the crown.
On what pretensions, thou?
Go ask thy wife, whom thou mayest thank when coming to the block, if e'er thou find'st thy way from thence to heaven.
My wife, O villain!
Lead the traitors hence, and yield them to the justice of our laws.
Conspirators are led off.
Where's Sir John Falstaff?
Here, my liege, he comes, with the Duke of York.
Enter Duke of York and Falstaff.
Sir John, your former ills your later act of loyalty hath cancelled, and, as we hear you promise better things than the loose conduct of your former days, as a new man we take thee to our favour.
I thank your gracious majesty most humbly.
Nor do we less respect the ties of gratitude. Ask what thou wilt, we will repay thy service.
My liege, the love I bear your gracious person would excite me to follow you to these same wars, but as I'm married and grown something round, I'm little fit to cope with raw-boned Frenchmen, or shine again in the bloody fields of Mars. My former deeds in arms your highness knows, and I know too you hold them cheap enough. I hope it will not therefore be thought cowardly in me, if, while the other gallant youth of Britain are reaping laurels in the heart of France, I am content to kiss Dame Peace at home. Your Majesty will please to order me from your exchequer a competency to support the infirmities of nature and the dignity of knighthood. Otium cum dignitate. My liege, would your Majesty secure me this? I would make my peace with the world, and live or die as heaven sees best, and my wife will let me.
Thou hast thy wish, and now, my noble lords, let us prepare for France. First solemn thanks in all our churches paid for our deliverance. The hand of heaven, thus manifestly shown in this our preservation, bids us hope success will crown our enterprise.
And proves, my liege, the justice of that cause which heaven in thee hath taken in protection.
Right well observed, good Uncle Exeter, who boasts a rightful cause, come what come may, armed for the adventure of the roughest day, by justice sanctified, his sword and shield may dare the perils of the bloodiest field, boldly in Providence may put his trust. Heaven is our champion when our cause is just.
Exeunt omnes. End of Act 5. End of Falstaff's Wedding, 1760 version, by William Kenrick.